Yes. Oh!
Ladies and gentlemen, baseball is back, baby! Welcome back, everybody, to Grand Slam Galaxy. I am your commissioner and commentator, Silly Willie or Won't he? I forgot for a second, but I remembered. It's fine. Unfortunately, my co-commentator, Silver Lily, will not be able to join us today because she is not feeling well, and we wish her the best. But in the meantime, we're back in Grand Slam Galaxy. A reminder of where things stand going into this Playday. Now, we are entering Playday number 9. There are 6 Playdays left, 3 matchups left to go. So, the playoff picture is taking full shape. Today's games. The first seed right now, the Bowser's Monsters, start their run in the late season as they have to take on the Yoshi's FireEggs, the 4th seed. The Monster schedule should stay hard throughout the rest of the season as their next 3 opponents are 2, 3, and 4 right now. The FireEggs, the Rookies, and the Monarchs. Our second game of today, the Miku Musicians face off against Peach's Monarchs in a matchup which could shake up at the top of the league. Now, top 6 teams make playoffs. Team first and second place get buys. So, the top position is really, really important. The Monarchs would love to push back against the Rookies who took over that position the last couple of Playdays, and the Musicians would love to secure their position in the playoffs at all. So we'll be watching that game with a lot of intensity. Next, not in play order, but in terms of game time we're counting, the Bowser Jr. Rookies, the hot shots of the league right now after decimating through ever since Playday 4 or so, just racking up their scoreboard on this league, will be playing against Birdo's Bows. This matchup will be basically the last shot for the Bows to turn around this season and make a postseason appearance. Or will it be the Rookies solidifying their place in second? We'll see how that matchup goes. Our last matchup for today is going to be a barn burner. We have the Daisy Flowers in that 7th position and the Spitballs in 6th. Now, all that separates them right now is run differential. And if you get 6th place and up, you go to the playoffs. If you're in 7th, that's your season. Of course, after 6 more Playdays. Neither of them want to be in that position, though. And both of them would love to be a lot more secure. And this matchup over the next 2 Playdays may just be what decides their postseason fates. We're going to get straight into it. Our first game of the day will feature the number 1 seed as the Monsters head to the FireEggs pick on double checking here. Yes, it's Mario Stadium at night. A pick for the FireEggs, a comfort pick, something that they seem to be trying to claim essentially as the home field. Now, there weren't, let me adjust the volume, excuse me. There weren't any big changes to either of these teams. In fact, let me double check. I'm not sure any of them traded. No. There's only one trade since the last Playday, and that was between the Spitballs and the Musicians. We'll cover that later. It was Toad for Toad. Now, between the Monsters and the FireEggs, not massive changes for either teams. The Monsters haven't changed at all. I believe the FireEggs have changed up their batting roster slightly, though that might be me just misremembering things. The Monsters, despite being the longest undefeated team of the season, eventually falling in Playday, I believe, 5 to the Musicians, have looked mortal on top of the standings, and their late season run will face a tough opponent, as the FireEggs, who struggled in the early season, are starting to bounce back. Being in the top half of this league is not an easy thing to accomplish when you've got such heavy sluggers on the board. We'll have to see how the narrative of this game plays out. Of course, the stakes, as always, will be a tough one. The FireEggs will be looking to secure their place. They are just above, if I double check the standings, a bit of a gulf with 3 to 5 teams below them. If they can't secure this win, they fall at risk of, hey, if it's they can't fall out of playoff contention in this game looking at the math, but they can fall down to 6th if they have a bad game. A win, though, would be great for the FireEggs and a devastating blow against the Monsters. We'll have to see which way that cookie crumbles. The FireEggs have home field advantage as we head to Mario Stadium. Let me actually double check because I don't have the chance with a co-commentator to make sure that everything is set up 100% correctly, especially after our time off. Everything looks good on the Monster side. I'm not seeing any complaints from the players. Coaches look good. Goomba, in his defensive coordinator role, seems happy with how his players handled the off week. Meanwhile, on the FireEggs side, double check. Looks like they are all good to go. I will be curious to see. I believe they might not have made any changes since last Playday. Since last Playday was when they brought their baby core in from the outfield, wasn't it? How did that work out for them? The FireEggs, just as a reminder, are coming off a 2-win series against the Musicians. The Monsters are coming off their 2-win series of their own versus the Bows, the bottom seed in the league. So, we'll have to see which team's streak breaks. As, with one last double check, I believe we are all good to go. Welcome back, everybody, to Grand Slam Galaxy. The Monsters head to FireEggs territory to start off the last 3 matchups and last 6 Playdays. Matchup number 1 begins now. I'm very excited. Baseball is back, baby. Baseball is back, baby. Let's go. I will be... Okay. Name of the game here. No player protest. Let's go. Name of the game here. The big question that we have to ask. How will Mario perform as a pitcher? He has been instrumental in FireEggs comebacks again and again, and when he has failed his task as a pitcher, this team has looked more and more mortal. So, Boo will fly out to Baby Mario to start off this game. Not a bad start for Mario, playing off himself. But the second runner, Red Magic Koopa Bolt, as we have learned his name is going to make it to first base. Now, be a great start to the FireEggs if they can turn this into a dangerous position for Bowser, but unfortunately, the Elric brother will successfully navigate a single up center field. And here's where we'll see the whole narrative of the game play out in miniature. Mario on the mound versus Bowser at the bat. 2 runners on for the big monster. If he can knock home a homer early, no! His drill will go straight to the third baseman of Baby DK, who quickly turns the double play. Bolt not able to reach base safely, nearly in time. And the Monsters shut down after being in a dangerous position at the start of this game. Great start defensively for the FireEggs. But now they have to deal with one of the best starting pitchers in, perhaps my biased opinion as the Monsters home commentator. Boo makes his return to the mound here in Playday number 7. Well, he'll have a weaker start than Mario, as the starting pitcher himself will hit a ball safely out to center field. The question, though, with the FireEggs, double checking their batting order real quick. They have a little bit of an awkward time here in the early game, as their power hitter is in the 5th batter slot. So whether Baby DK can successfully bat here and get King K. Rool to that batter position early, well, it looks like a yes from him, as a single up the middle will allow Mario to advance all the way to 3rd, and the FireEggs have the chance to be the first team to score in this game. It'll come down to Pegasus, who knocks a ball clean out to right field and brings Mario home. With a runner on first, runner on second, and Mario himself coming home, the FireEggs are going to take the first blood in this game. Now that danger batter himself, King K. Rool, has successfully found himself in batting position with runners on, the ball is hit high, but not high enough. Agaric and Thermite in the outfield, able to make the play and save the 3-run homer from being out of here. Good play from the outfield. Thankfully not that rusty after that week off. 10 days since our last Playday. The captain himself, Yoshi, will have a chance to extend the FireEggs lead here and put the Monsters into a hurting position early in this game, but no. His ball won't make it over the head of Bolt at second base, and the FireEggs will only score 1 run. Not at all a safe lead in Grand Slam Galaxy. Still, this is where we look at Mario. Can he continue to be a solid defensive stake that the rest of this team can root itself around? Our second newly named player, Seeker, the Red Koopa, will, though, successfully navigate Mario's pitching and knock himself a single straight up center field. Salamander will have to see whether or not he's able to capitalize. One of the most dangerous batters on this Monsters lineup, not able to produce anything yet. As a foul hit to left field would have been a home run, but not if it doesn't curve in, and a long shot to the outfield looks like it'll be caught safely by Red Yoshi and Ash Ketchum. Maybe a little bit of pressure from the critter as King K. Rool stands behind him to show you're not the only one who's got power behind his bat and scales on his back. 1 out now against the Monsters, and Thermite has a chance to set up a great time here for Strawberry the Red Pianta, but unfortunately is not able to manage it. He'll fly out to that left field position, leaving Strawberry with only 1 runner on, no one in scoring position. It'll have to be good base running from Seeker or a power hit from Strawberry if the Monsters want to have early damage in this game. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at a late run from them to try to actually get their batters going. The line drive from Strawberry does find the perfect spot in the defense and allows Seeker to navigate all the way to 3rd, though. And unfortunately, the batter who comes to the plate to try to capitalize off that is Agaric. Mario wants to shut this batter down and get his team out of this situation with a runner on 3rd. Agaric will hit it high to right field. Is that curving out? Ooh, and by inches misses the home run. Charges up again. The line drive up the middle isn't caught by Yoshi, and at least it'll be blow for blow as the Monsters successfully navigate a runner home, and Seeker is the first point on the board for the first seed team. Good running there. Excellent plays from Agaric and Strawberry to bring him home, and they're back to the top of the order. As starting pitcher Boo, first batter for this team, we'll see if he can redeem himself after a pop out at his first attempt. Oh my god! Oh my god! More than redeem himself, unexpectedly the starting pitcher is the batter, who successfully navigates a ball along the left baseline. No outfield could catch that one, and the 3-run homer establishes that the Monsters are not here to play. Figuratively, they are playing baseball. Wow, after navigating some dangerous batting positions early in this inning, I'm sure they're happy that Boo, of all players, was able to capitalize. Mario's not going to be happy with that. Letting up a homer that devastating that early in the game is not something you want to see as you come back from an off week. But plenty of time, plenty of chances from the FireEggs to make the Monsters pay for it. Baby Luigi, standout case there, manages to sneak a single up center field. His brother, Baby Mario, will try to advance the runner. Slap hit, stays too close inside, and the babies don't have enough reach on their bats. The double play from Bolt will clear the bases with 2 outs for Boo, and put him in a very safe position against the starred player of Red Yoshi. Red Yoshi will knock out that line drive, and a Boo will make sure there's no danger of it being caught. Agaric will try to field it back, but that won't stop the double, possibly assisted by the Boo. It was a little bit shaky about whether Agaric would even be able to catch that. And now the starting pitcher Mario has a good chance to at least start the FireEggs back. Red Yoshi will start running early. The deep hit from Mario, barely caught by Thermite and Agaric. Hero outfielding barely catches a dangerous ball from the sub-captain. But that will shut down the FireEggs offense and make sure that they don't score any runs in the second inning. The Monsters do have a 3-run lead, but we have a lot more baseball left to play. So I'm sure they would love to extend that if they can. Mario isn't tired yet. He was a little bit disappointed at the end of last inning, but it's important to note he's not tired. And a quick pickup on that out will hopefully bolster his morale a little bit. He'll face down his rival Bowser, but with no runners on, there's not a lot of damage Bowser could do. And he capitalizes on it with the most damage he could possibly do. A line drive homer out to that left field position. This is a reinvigorated Monsters team. The offensive like we've not seen since matchup 1. Mario not tired yet, which is good for the FireEggs, but this batting lineup is putting on a showcase tonight. Unexpected power, even if they are the first seed team. Well, sorry. Seeker will successfully manage to get his way to second. Questionable base running, though, will result in a close play. Unfortunately, Baby DK isn't able to tag out Seeker. That shell hits home. Well, it hits third base. Runners on the corners now with only 1 out. Dangerous position for the FireEggs, and Thermite will capitalize with another single up the middle and another run scored for the Monsters. Bad news turns to worse as the pitcher Mario starts to tire. Now it's Strawberry. Power hitter for the Monsters, charges the bat, but is not able to escape. An amazing catch from the captain Yoshi on that second base position. What a play to bring his team back from a, well, terrifying inning. 2 more runs for the Monsters is damage, but a 5-run deficit is not something that the FireEggs haven't caught up on before. They will have to turn on the bats and turn up the heat. But again, even if they don't produce in this 3rd inning, still plenty of ball left to play. You would love to see it start, though, and a strikeout from Ash Ketchum. Can't strike him all, can't hit a single ball. Boo records the first strikeout of this Playday. And that's not what you need if you're a FireEggs team on the back foot. What you need is plays like Baby DK, knocking it safely over the head of Bolt to right field. That's 1 runner on first base off that single. And Pegasus will try to see a way through this defense, and he will. A good hit to that center left field position lets Baby DK advance all the way to third base. And it'll even start to tire. The man who we thought would be able to pitch for days, Boo, is looking a little bit exhausted on that pitcher's mound. King K. Rool with a chance to put some damage on the board, hits it high, hits it deep, but hits it too slow. The pop fly will allow Baby DK to run home and score a run for the FireEggs. But there's only so many times this Monsters team can block home run shots, and the call is made early by Goomba. The defensive coordinator wants Boo off the mound, wants a fresh pitcher on, and Bowser comes up to plate against the pitcher of Yoshi. Pitcher's blessing now as Yoshi knocks it to shortstop, and Strawberry makes the diving catch to end the inning. It's consistency from the FireEggs. One run is not at all a problem yet. The question is, can they stop this red-hot FireEggs offense, who have already scored 2 home runs in 3 innings? Now, when it comes to damage, home runs like that are something that are few and far between in Grand Slam Galaxy. It's possible. We don't see any more hits like it from the Monsters this entire game. But Boo's bat is looking hot. Him and Agaric both knock singles, put a run on first and second for Red Magic Koopa. Mario's starting to tire. We'll need to try to shut down this offense. The good play from Ash Ketchum in left field will at least keep the runners honest, and catches the pop out from Red Magic Koopa. Bolt. Mario absolutely... Oh, is that the infield? Sure. Okay. Mario forces an infield fly with a start pitch. Excellent play from him, but as the slugger Bowser comes up, the defense doesn't want it. The captain Yoshi subs himself in to try to stop this offense. Unfortunately, the line drive from Bowser will, at a minimum, allow Agaric to advance home and Boo to run to third base. There's 2 outs on the inning, so the captain Yoshi has plenty of opportunities to end it, plenty of ways to end it, and the way he will is forcing Seeker the Red Koopa to fly out to center field. 1 run from the Monsters is enough to maintain their 5-run lead. Now it's time for the FireEggs to see what damage they can put on. The babies, Luigi and Mario, have to get good base hits, and Baby Luigi, Baby Consistency we should start calling him, is able to knock away that single. Mario, who wasn't able to follow up his brother's success last time, is going to have to navigate his way past this captain who doesn't want this baby man making it on base. 1 star pitch. Will we see a second? No. The slap from Mario isn't able to navigate its way past Bolt in that second base position. The Red Magic Koopa knocks away the double play and cleans up the babies just like the last time they tried to come up to the bat. The starred player now, Red Yoshi, is going to have to see if he can do anything this inning, but no. Pops out to Bolt, who's involved in all 3 outs in that inning in quick succession to shut down the FireEggs offense. The Monsters are no way out of this. We've seen great comebacks from the FireEggs on Mario Stadium before, but they will need to start on the gas next inning. A weak hit from Salamander almost results in a clean, easy out, but instead, excellent item play. The POW block lets the man escape it out and run all the way to second. That is a devastating double to have in this situation. Now it's Thermite. No pressure on Salamander if he doesn't want to run it, but that is more than enough of a hit from Thermite, who knocks away a single to right field, and it's runners on the corners with no outs as Strawberry steps to the plate. First pitch is a strike. Second pitch is hit, but it's a fly to center field. The Boo stops the out, but the runner on third base presumes it's going to be caught and doesn't feel comfortable running. That'll at least stop a run from being batted in. Bases loaded with no outs, though, is a dangerous position to be in, and the coach is feeling it with a star pitch. No attempt on the second one. The pop fly, this will probably be a sacrifice fly that will allow Salamander to run home. Yes, it will be. Okay. 1 run scored for the Monsters again. Only 1 out. Runner on first and second. Opportunities for double plays abound, but not if the boo is assisted by a boo. The single knocked away. Runners on all bases again as Red Magic Koopa Bolt steps to the plate. A high ball to the outfield. This will be another sacrifice fly unless... Oh my stars! The item actually stops the run from coming in as the excellent chemistry in the outfield allows the ball to come in quickly and stop the run. The next batter hits the pop to the outfield, and what would have been a sacrifice fly is turned into diddly squat for the Monsters. They will still at least score 1 run on the inning, but great defensive play from the FireEggs to stop the damage there. Now, they need to turn up the offense, sending the babies to bed. Very good. Putting the babies to bed. They need to turn on the offense. A power block doesn't allow Mario to get more than a single, but it will send a statement. Ash Ketchum now at bat. Knocks the single cleanly up the middle. Run on first, run on second. No outs. This is where you want to be. Baby DK, his responsibility here to maintain the pressure. Honestly, a strikeout wouldn't be the worst situation, as at least it's not a double play, but no, the ball successfully finds its way over Bolt's head and takes long enough that Mario feels comfortable running home. That's the first run for the inning with no outs on the board for the FireEggs, and this is looking like a dangerous situation. Scores 8-3. Baby DK. Ash Ketchum, Mario, first 3 batters perform their duties admirably. 4th batter, Pegasus, needs to set up for King K. Rool in the back. Charges up though, misses with 2 strikes. We expect to see a slap from the batter, and we do. A slap that finds its mark perfectly. Ash Ketchum thinks about running home but resists it. Bases loaded, 0 outs. King K. Rool, who we put on Fraud Watch time and time again at the plate, knocks it high up the middle, but no, it barely doesn't make it out of the park. It will be a okay. Sacrifice fly will allow another runner to come home. Baby DK and Pegasus still on first and second, only 1 out. A weak hit from the captain though. A sacrifice from him. Runners advance to second and third, plenty of room, and the batter, Baby Consistency, forces the bobble from Strawberry and allows Baby DK to run all the way home. The bomb will allow Pegasus to run home. That's 2 more runs on this inning. And what started this inning as an 8-2 game comes all the way to 8-6. Next up though, the batter who has forced double play time and time again. He doesn't need to force 2 outs, he only needs to let 1 slide. Baby Mario, can you keep this rally going? Or does the inning end here? The pop out to left field successfully finds the hole. And we're still going. Runners on first, runner on second, 2 fast babies. Their mamas aren't going to be able to catch them, but will the defense? Well, it depends on where Red Yoshi hits this ball. He misses the first 2 strikes. You don't want to see a star pitch from Bowser, and you don't. But the slap from Red Yoshi finds its way comfortably into Strawberry's mitt. An excellent inning for the FireEggs puts them right back in this game. 8-6 now, after a very, very good 4-inning run for them. And I have to say, while the Monsters did have a 4-inning run, it was off the strength of a, let's call it what it was, a miracle 3-run homer from their starting pitcher. Can they produce that type of offense off smaller ball? Well, Bowser at least thinks so. He will knock the single, but unfortunately, the single from Seeker up to center field is hit just a little bit too far and allows Red Yoshi to field his second to catch Bowser out before he has a chance to run the bases. Salamander won't make that same mistake. At least Seeker is a little bit faster on his feet than the captain and will successfully make it to second off Salamander's single. Runner on first, runner on second, 1 out now. The Monsters have been so good on securing at least 1 run every single inning, and they're in a great position to keep up that streak as Thermite knocks away his own single and loads the bases with 1 out for Strawberry. It's a slap out to right field. No fielder in position. Salamander not sure about it, but you know who is sure about it? Seeker, who runs home with a mandatory 1 run for the Monsters so far this inning. Excellent offensive play from them in their comeback to this league, and it'll start to put pressure on the secondary pitcher and the captain Yoshi. We're not sure who the tertiary pitcher will be for this team. Hopefully it won't be Red Yoshi in the outfield. That would be the worst case scenario, but I don't think it will. Now, unfortunately for the Monsters, the inning ends there after a great play from the shortstop position of Baby Mario. Right? Yeah. Baby Mario forces the double play off a Garrick's bat and brings us to a 9-6 scoreline. Isin. Mario will start off this inning with a single of his own. Brother Mr. Consistency is looking great in this game. That'll mean no outs as Ash Ketchum comes to the plate. Bowser doesn't want to continue that streak. He'll put a little bit of pressure early with a early star pitch for a nice strike. The hit from Ash Ketchum is deep to outfield. The outfield isn't hustling, but thankfully, they do manage to get there in time and keep Mario honest at first base. Still, you gotta wonder if any of these hits from the batters on the FireEggs will find a hole at some point. You hit it just far enough to the right, you hit it just far enough to the left, you hit it just fast enough, you hit it just low enough. Any of these home runs could slip the outfield. They don't need to slip the outfield though after Baby DK knocks a great line drive to the right field to advance Mario all the way to third base. We're not able to see the RBI chance off Bowser's snout there. But with only 1 out and runners on the corners, this is a great chance for the FireEggs to prove that they also are able to score at least a run an inning. Disaster strikes though as Bolt snags a ball flying out to right field and turns the double play. It looks like the Magic Koopa in the shortstop and second base position, that defensive change from the Monsters a couple Playdays ago is paying off in spades. Shuts down the FireEggs offense at the bottom of the 6th. They still have plenty of chances to bring this game back, but first, they will have to face the top of the Monsters offense. Boo will knock away his single. Yoshi is starting to tire. You have to wonder who's that tertiary pitcher. You would imagine that they would want King K. Rool to come up to the plate as he was the starting pitcher for them for a while, but you don't know. Mario at least makes it a lot less of a competitive issue as he turns the double play off of Red Magic Koopa's back to clear the bases. Securing one last out on Elric would be an admirable last attempt from Yoshi, but no, Elric will barely navigate it above Mario at the second base position for a single. The man Bowser, he scored a solo homer earlier, charges up against Captain Yoshi, hits it high and deep. This is looking a little bit slow though, and the shell is not the item that these players know how to use to break up the home run chance. The captain flies out on the home run attempt off the catch from Pegasus and Red Yoshi, and for the first time in a while in this game, the Monsters go scoreless in an inning. Excellent defensive play from the FireEggs. With 3 runs left to go though, King K. Rool steps up to the plate. He'll have to face a good star pitch from the Captain Bowser, but he is charging early. He wants a deep hit. He's been denied too many times this game, and he barely knocks it foul by an inch. He'll settle for the slap, but it'll fall into Red Magic Koopa's staff? and be a ground out. Ooh, a matter of inches. Stops what would have been a great start to this inning from the FireEggs, and they don't have a great middle either, as the Captain Yoshi also grounds out to that second base position. Bolt is doing wonders for this team. You gotta wonder if it's the morale boost from having a name. Now, Baby Luigi. Baby consistency, but no longer. Wait, Pow Block is on deck. Not fast enough to stop the fly out, and it's 3 up, 3 out for the FireEggs in their time of need. They only have 2 chances left to score 3 runs, which by no means is impossible. But in order to make that their only problem, they have to shut down this monster's defense. Seeker will knock the ball to second base and ground out to start this inning. You gotta wonder if Captain Yoshi will be swapped out, but no, not yet. He wants to face down Salamander. The red critter line drive up to center field will at least guarantee a single. That's gotta be the swap out from the captain, right? At this point? Yes. Who's it gonna be on mound? Oh no. Red Yoshi coming in from the outfield means this FireEggs defense is shattered. With no more chemistry in the outfield, any dinger from the FireEggs is a death knell for this team. Still, unlike the FireEggs, the Monsters haven't had that much luck actually securing dingers, and now they're in a weaker part of their offense. A double play would be huge, but the star hit from Agaric forces the bobble from Yoshi and will make sure that isn't the case. Excellent awareness from Agaric brings 2 more runners in and makes this game 11-6. A double play off that bat would have put the FireEggs in a great position. Now that outfield chemistry is going to be an even bigger issue, and those 2 runs don't help matters either. We're at the top of the order. No matter what, Bowser will be back at the plate later in this game. But first, they've got to shut down Boo, which they will do with a catch from Baby Mario. The double play turns the inning. That's good news for the FireEggs, but 2 runs is 2 more runs than they needed to see. Now, they are in a 5-run deficit, which, if Bowser performs the way he's been performing when he comes up to bat next inning, will almost certainly increase to at least 6 runs. They need runners on home plate now, and that's not the result they need as Baby Mario pops a fly to Red Magic Koopa at second base. Red Yoshi needs to start this rally. This needs to be huge from the FireEggs. The bat is not able to find its way past Bolt. The Magic Koopa locks down second base position yet again and will continue to be a key player for this defense. Mario, the sub-captain, with the last chance for the inning, but he'll go out to first base, and the FireEggs will have 1 more chance in this game to bring it back. First, they have to navigate the Miracle. Bolt is their first contender, not a power hitter. So, they shouldn't be worried about an outfield hit here. The pop fly will go out to left field, but will be caught by Ash Ketchum. That's good. Outfield I meant out of the park. Next is Elric. Not by all means a weak batter, but hits it weak to shortstop, and Baby Mario cleans it up. This is why they didn't need the star hit from Agaric, is because it meant they were facing down Bowser with no chemistry in the outfield. Can the captain hit the homer? The bat is charged. The ball is deep. Will it go foul? Yes. This time, the FireEggs are saved. But they have to navigate 1 more strike. A low hit from Bowser stops the homer, and sweat wiped off the FireEggs bench. Well, the FireEggs outfield. Now it's Seeker, who, with a line drive out to right field, will at least keep this going and allow Bowser to navigate to third? Yes, third and third are alone. Seeker will navigate to second. Salamander could make this an even more devastating increase in runs, and he will The star hit to the outfield drives in 2 more, and with a 13-6 scoreline and a 7-run lead, you have to imagine that this game just hit its death knell. It would take a miracle offensive run from the FireEggs now as Red Yoshi also starts to tire. Thermite hits the single. It's 2 outs on the board for Strawberry. A home run from the Pianta would more than seal the game, but they'll settle for the slap. The hit to the outfield will load the bases. Now at this point, the FireEggs just looking to escape this batting lineup. A guard comes up to the plate. The man who sealed the fate earlier knocks away the single and makes it an 8-run lead now for the Monsters. The pitching change deep into the game for the FireEggs as they bring Baby Luigi up to pitch. Not all a bad pitcher, arguably a better pitcher than Red Yoshi. But no, he's not able to stop Boo, who knocks away the single to first, and the long throw from center field to home plate, means that Strawberry is able to sneak it in 2. The run extends to 10, and another single from Red Magic Koopa keeps the bases loaded. 10 runs now against this gap. Finally, the Elric knocks the ball to Mario at second base and lets the FireEggs walk off the field after letting up 5 runs deep in the game when they really needed a breather. The Monsters do not let up. A 10-run inning is what the FireEggs need. They need to round the batting order and then some. Ash Ketchum will start off the inning with a good single despite the synergy from the outfield coming in. They're not able to stop it. Now the pitcher swap to Red Magic Koopa means that he's no longer at that second base position. Bowser is, who's a little bit slower. You wouldn't expect him to be able to get those clutch catches that Red Magic Koopa is. But he doesn't much need to when Bolt forces a weak hit from Baby DK, who has been so clutch for the FireEggs so far this game, and comes away with a double play. With no runners on, the FireEggs would need 10 runs and no outs to do it, but no. Pegasus knocks it out to center field, and the game is sealed. The FireEggs walk away from this game and walk away from their home game with a 6-16 scoreline, and the Monsters continue their win streak and their definite place atop the standings. A 10-run differential for them, brought up greatly by that 7-run Monster offense session late in the game, proving that they did not need just home run magic to produce some numbers. Okay. Flowers need to be given to the FireEggs. They fell apart at the end, but they did a great job making that game very, very close up until those last 2 innings. It really was anyone's game up until the Monsters sealed it late. I'm a little bit surprised to see Agaric score what I have to assume is his first MVP of the season. Excuse me while I record the results as we head into Playday 9. Monsters versus FireEggs. Okay. Let's give the FireEggs their flowers, and let's talk about what a statement this is from the Monsters. I mean, I gotta come up with a different saying at some point, right? But still, I mean, you see the pride on Bowser's face in his team. First, I want to see why Agaric got the MVP nod. Strong batting score. Shout out to Boo with 150 batting. A 3-run homer and an excellent starting pitching with the strikeout, but it's not enough as Agaric, I guess got enough clutch hits, and oh, the fielding of course helps. Catching home run after home run after home run attempt from the FireEggs. Many of those balls could have gone the other way and could have resulted in a much closer game. Flowers, excuse me. Good attempt from them to bring this back in the late game. I think that the question that comes up so much with this team is who's the power hitter. And when King K. Rool doesn't have a good day like he didn't have today, unfortunately, there's not a lot of power left behind most of the other bats. It forces them to play small ball. The Monsters have a very synergistic field that can make small ball very hard. But it almost was enough from the FireEggs. That game goes a little bit differently in the late game. They keep a little bit more steam. I'm going to want to see this team find a way to keep up morale in the late game and close out these close contests. Gotta wonder if the pressure of being 3 runs down and being known as the comeback team was too much for them late in the game. Meanwhile, of course, we have to turn to the Monsters as they continue their first place dominance with a unexpected win, at least in such a fashion, over the FireEggs. The Monsters, I said at the top of the broadcast, have a difficult journey ahead of them over the next 6 Playdays. They're facing the top 3 team right now in the league. So it's good to start that off early. I gotta give props to Boo, 3-run homer. Excellent hit from him, the strongest batting performance we've seen from him easily all season. Bowser, of course, putting on not just a single shot homer, but a couple key singles when needed. And besides that, it was really just small ball. It was really all of these players coming up and making sure that they put damage on the scoreboard. And when your team is just a speed bag for this Monsters offense, well, it's going to end up with this type of scoreline. I believe that the FireEggs have a pretty good chance of coming back and securing the win second game. They did a great job of keeping Monsters fans on their toes in this one. But the Monsters walk away with a win and will be satisfied with that 16-6 scoreline. Now, it puts the FireEggs in danger of falling low on the scoreboard. We'll see where exactly they end up, depending on how our next couple of games go. Next on the schedule, we have a dangerous matchup for the middle of the field. The Miku Musicians come up against Peach's Monarchs, and believe it or not, everybody, we're returning to the Disruptors fields as the Musicians, with home field advantage, bring us to double checking. Yep. Bring us to Luigi's Mansion, a field we've only seen once before in Grand Slam Galaxy. Let me double check that. I believe, yeah, in the main season, we've only seen Luigi's Mansion once. Actually, including the preseason, we've only ever seen Luigi's Mansion once. It was a 17-8 scoreline in Playday 2 for the Monsters versus the Spitballs, before the Spitballs really brought their roster together in the middle of the season. So, not at all necessarily an offensive powerhouse of a map. We're gonna have to see how this goes. The Musicians were one of the few teams which actually made a trade in our off week. They brought Purple Toad, PT, they call him Tojima because he's PT. He comes over to the roster from the Spitballs, where I believe he was an active member until like last game maybe, so a little bit of a surprising trade. But PT Tojima is brought over onto this team to act as a little bit more of that, a little bit more of a batter compared to Yellow Toad, who was traded away and fit a little bit more snugly on this roster, especially acting as support for Yellow Pianta. YB! Now, the Musicians have been a team that have definitely faced struggles throughout this series. I'm going to cover them first. After coming off a second place in the Winter Classic, we were expecting a strong showcase from them. They've had their ups and downs throughout the season and have ended up being a middle-of-the-pack team so far. So that's why I'm a little bit surprised to see them come to Luigi's Mansion, of all places. A very swingy field, depending on how the outfield... Let me explain the gimmick real fast. The outfield is littered with graves, which when hit with a ball can essentially lay down a ghost mine that can disrupt the outfield even more. If they're not careful, if too many balls hit that outfield position, small ball can turn from a single to a triple to an in-the-park home run as the ghosts mess with the outfielders. If I had to pick who that would affect more, looking at the records, you would think that would be worse for the Monarchs. They have a little bit of a faster outfield, barely, maybe about equivalent. So we'll have to see. But it looks like the Musicians are trusting not just in that disruption to come mainly on the pain of the Monarchs, but in the power of their bats as they star Sub-Captain DK to give him all that extra power to just absolutely knock those balls out of the park. We'll have to see how the trade goes for them, how the swap up and strategy goes for them. In the meantime, from the Monarchs, we still have not seen any changes, but the big story going into this is that they remain the third place team. They will double checking the standings real quick. Yes, no matter what, they will remain in third place after this game. The question is whether it's close. Whether or not there'll be 2 games up into third place, whether that top of the scoreboard will really start to separate itself from the middle of the pack, or whether they'll only be one game above their opponents, the Musicians. 5-3 record for the Monarchs, 3-5 record for the Musicians. That means that if the Musicians win, 5-4 for the Monarchs, 4-5 for the Musicians, and the Musicians could look to try to swap places on the scoreboard over the course of the series. That would require a monster run differential from the Musicians, as the Monarchs have plus 40, and the Musicians have plus 5, so they would have to not just beat but decimate the Monarchs if they wanted to really climb above them in the scoreboard. But they could, at the very least, put a lot of pressure and try to secure minimum 4th place position if they come away with both wins in this series. Otherwise, if they fall here, they are closer and closer at risk to falling out of playoff contention. Basically, no matter what, if they lose here, they will be at best in 6th place, at worst in 7th. So we'll see how it goes. The Musicians take us to a risky field of Luigi's Mansion. Can they start a late season rally and secure their place in the postseason versus the ever so strong batting lineup of the Monarchs? I forgot to double check, make sure that all the rosters are 100% good. Everything is looking good on the Musician side. I do not want to screw this up while I'm alone out here. Okay, outfield for the Musicians, looking good. Batting order for the Musicians is all good. Right? Monarchs, outfield, or field positions. I'm not sure what the term is. As long as this is Fireball and shortstop. Yep, okay. Fielding positions are looking all good. Toad with the start. Yep. Okay, and the batting order: Petey Piranha, Boomerang Blow, Magic Koopa, Fireball, Dark Bones, Toadette, Blue Toad, Peach, Toad's Red. Okay, we're all good. Let me try that one again. The Musicians have to start their late game season rally now, while the Monarchs look to shore up what has been a difficult mid-season for them. Which team cements itself as a postseason threat? Game 2 of Playday 9 of Grand Slam Galaxy starts right now. pending player protest, which we've been pretty lucky about, but you know. I think it's interesting to see the musicians not just take us to this type of field, but try to take home field advantage on it. Cookies will be made. Hell yeah. Alright. Excellent start from Teto as she forces 2 strikes from PD Piranha, but the ever solid plant will knock a single up center field. It's dangerous early against the Monarchs. They've got power hitter after power hitter after power hitter. PD Piranha, Boomerang Bro, Fire Bro, Dark Bones, and also for some reason Magic Koopa in the middle there. Still, Boomerang Bro and PD Piranha are only able to knock away singles, and a bad hit from Magic Koopa could easily secure some solid outs. But no, it's a dangerous start for the musicians as the first 3 batters from the Monarchs all find, sorry about that screen tearing, as I accidentally skipped the cutscene. A deep hit from Fire Bro will challenge at least the defense, but more than enough synergy in the outfield. It'll be a sacrifice fly, nothing that the Monarchs can complain about as they'll score a run inning 1. But still, all things considered, this isn't that bad for the musicians. Getting through such a power lineup with only 1 run scored is better than most teams can boast. If they can make it past Dark Bones is the big question. This is a deceptive slugger. Not deceptive enough, though. The hesitation from Boomerang Bro almost knocks them out, but no. Instead, it's 1 out, runners on the corners. Tato wants to keep them honest, though, forcing Boomerang Bro to respect the quick throw she has with Funky Kong synergy at third base. She wants to force Toadette to screw up. Unfortunately, YP isn't able to catch the ball, and Boomerang Bro makes it all the way home for a second run for the Monarchs in the first inning. You had to have known. Ignoring that, the crowd remains restless. Unfortunately, Blue Toad is not able to keep the danger going as Light Blue Yoshi in the second base position locks down the infield and gets the musicians out, having 2 runs scored against them. Not a good start by most means, but against such a powerful offense, you really can't complain. The question is whether or not the musicians are able to respond with offense of their own. Starting pitcher Tato, trust me, that's Tato, seems to think so. A hard hit flies foul, but the weaker hit flies true. Straight up center field, letting her reach first base. Morale booster for the team. Funky Kong wants to make sure they're on notice. A deep hit flies foul. And another deep hit flies true. It has to be noted, by the way, that okay. The power block does not stop the out. It only would have stopped the out if Blue Toad went early and tried to swipe at it, but even then there was synergy, so not a lot of risk there. Fire Bro just barely able to field the ball quick enough to get the out on Tiny Kong, but her single will allow the runner to advance to second. What I was trying to say earlier is that it should be noted that those outfield hazards in the graves look like they'll remain until they get hit, and the sub-captain DK does not want any chance for problems. He'll knock a star hit all the way to the outfield to make sure that neither Fire Bro nor Tato are able to interfere. I should point out that interaction real quick of the fact that the fire power-up stops Fire Bro from catching it while he tries to reel it in, allowing the star hit to continue and disrupt the outfield. Incredible item play from the musicians to get full value from that star pitch. I don't mean to do the dial trip hand gestures, excuse me, I'm excited. And the single from Dixie Kong will allow the first runner for the musicians to get home as Toadsworth starts to tire. Now, it should be noted, the early defense from the Monarchs is the weakest part. As soon as Toad retire and Peach comes up to the mound, that's when things get dangerous. But at the least, the Musicians aren't able to score more than a single run. They'll keep it competitive, they'll keep it within one, and they're going up against a weaker section of the Monarchs' offense. But it's a section they have to shut down before they attempt to score against the best pitcher in the league, Peach. When will she come up to the mound? In the meantime, in a uncharacteristic move for Peach, she's able to secure a single. Toadsworth, as the secondary pitcher, lays down another mine in the outfield. That's a dangerous position for it to be at, and a single will allow Peach to advance all the way to third base. Good chance for PD Piranha. None of these outfield mines are really in a good spot to disrupt a catch for a homer try. But it doesn't matter, as the line drive from PD Piranha takes advantage of the slightly deeper outfield, and the double from him lets Peach come home. Dangerous position now for the Musicians. 2 runs down and coming against the by far strongest section of the Monarchs batting order, with a runner on second, runner on third, and no outs. Tato needs to navigate this with the utmost care. Hammerbow's line drive, though, will find the back of the field and drive 2 more in. Might be caught at second? No. Even if that went to second, it wouldn't have caught Hammerbow. We're seeing a little bit of the flavor here on Luigi's Mansion. It looks like those fielders are placed a little bit closer to the infield. It looks to me, maybe I'm wrong, but it looks to me like a hit to the outfield fence, if a line drive, might be even more dangerous. In the meantime, Magic Koopa will knock away a single and put a runner on first, runner on third, for Firebow. This is when the Musicians decide they've had enough. Tato is taken off the mound, and star pitcher for the Musicians, Donkey Kong, is going to try to force a weak hit from Firebow, who wisely doesn't swing on the star hit. But he's forced to take a weak semi-charge. Unfortunately, Light Blue Yoshi takes too long to bring it in. The runner from third, Boomerang Bro, manages to bring his way home. And the batter, Firebow, is caught out, leaving only 1 runner on the base, Magic Koopa. DK is pitching fire. And he'll try to force a weak hit from Dark Bones. He will. The slap hit doesn't result in much. Holy cow. That is a cannon of an arm on DK. He is not letting up on these Monarchs. Unfortunately, it doesn't help the Monarchs in their current 5-run deficit, but it might mean the difference as we advance deeper into this game. Toadette is able to hit through the star pitch, but is still hitting it straight to Tiny Kong in the outfield to end the inning for the Monarchs. 4 runs for them. Musicians up to the plate. It's still early days, and a 5-run lead is quite a lot, but when you've got the firepower of the Musicians, maybe it's not too much to ask. Maybe it's not nearly too much to ask, as Purple Toad knocks it in a clean single, and the item interference activates a Ghost Mine just to bully Toadette in center field. That will mean that Peach, the star pitcher, is brought cleanly up, and this is what we're seeing, though. That's the potential of Luigi's Mansion outfield to interfere with the outfielders. However, careful to note there, it looks like the Ghost can only interfere with 1 outfielder at a time. So in situations where we've got 2 fielders running for the ball, it's relatively safe. Light Blue Yoshi tries to make the play to force a bunt, but unfortunately the ball is hit too high and it's a pop out to Peach. Not the worst situation if you're Light Blue Yoshi. They're not a power hitter. 1 out is probably about something good that you can hope for as a Musician fan there. Now it's starting pitcher Tato. Line drive up the center is hit too strong, and Toadette will catch it. Still a runner in scoring position, but with 2 outs on the field, it's up to Funky Kong to score this line drive to the outfield or a deep hit to try to start to put on pressure. We've seen musicians 2-run rallies before. Excuse me. The first attempt goes foul, the second attempt goes deep. But unfortunately... Just on the edge of the ghost. That must have been a matter of inches before the ghost interfered. Weirdly enough, that ball was super heavy. And unfortunately, the pop-out fly from Funky Kong will end the inning for the musicians. Not the worst for them. Still, it's still early days. And DK faces a weaker section of the batting order to try to get through here. First batter, out. Second batter, out. Captain Peach, no more luck from her. Third batter, starter pitcher Toadsworth. Solid semi-charge hit to try to knock into the outfield, but no. 3 up, 3 out for the first time in this game, and the Monarchs are shut down. Exactly where you would expect them to be shut down, but shut down nonetheless. Now it's up to the musicians to try to take advantage of Luigi's Mansion and start bringing this game back into contention. Tiny Kong hits it straight to the shortstop position of Fireball. That's the first out of the inning. Captain DK, best he can hope for is 1 run on the board. Charges it up against star pitcher Peach, and the deep hit will allow him to only get to first. Slow running means that he won't be able to secure second base, and it frankly was a little bit too far up center field for that realistic probability. Instead, Dixie Kong knocks it to Firebro, who quickly turns the double play and keeps the musicians scoreless in another inning. This Monarchs team is looking good. Back at the top of the batting order. This will be the chance for DK to make a statement and really show this team that he can shut them down. 2 difficult batters and also Magic Koopa. He successfully manages the first one. PD Piranha, one of the slowest runners in the league, way too slow to navigate past Light Blue Yoshi. Hammerbow forced with a weaker hit, but no, it finds perfect position. And difficulty for the outfield for these musicians as the Monarchs are finding perfect placement. That'll allow Hammerbow to get to second. You need some sort of pop fly to shortstop or second base, followed by catching Hammerbow, but no, Magic Koopa finds great placement. And it'll be a second out, still a chance to go scoreless in this inning if Firebow can perform, and no matter what after this batter, I'm going to have to go blow my nose. Weak hit from him, pop fly, ghost interference? No. Ghost interference is activated by the ball. Got it. Okay. 0 outs for the Monarchs in that batting attempt. Careful to note here now that, if anything, that shows us that pop flies shouldn't be interfered with if they end up in the ghost zone, but will be if they're grounders. Good to know. Miku, the captain, unfortunately pops straight out to Firebow, and a lot of difficulty from the musicians navigating this infield so far this game. What was his name? Tojima? No trouble from him, though, as a good clean pop to center field nets a single and starts the musicians in this inning. YP charges early to try to put some damage, but with 2 strikes, you expect him to go for a slap, and he will, successfully navigating it above Boomerang Bro for another single, and Toadsworth, more dangerously, triggers the ghost interference in right field. Now it's time for Light Blue Yoshi to show his stuff, but no! Grounds out to shortstop, and Firebro is able to turn the double play, shutting down the musicians and another solid opportunity. The Monarchs, though, no opportunities should be gained this inning, unless Darkbones could knock home a quick homer, but no, the fast pitching from DK is too much for these Monarchs batters to overcome. And with no items aboard, that's a clean pop out, pop fly to center field. That puts DK in a wonderful position in this inning, as he now faces down Toadette and Blue Toad, weaker batters. Toadette does knock away the single, but Blue Toad, Peach, Toadsworth, lots of chances to escape, especially when Blue Toad looks like he just wants to go for the bunt. The bunt that flies foul. Great to see that. Good from DK to navigate his way past the bunt. He'll force Blue Toad to swing. And the pop to right field, caught by Tiny. Unfortunately, not a pop fly out, as it will barely hit the ground, but it will allow her to catch out the runner at second. And ever consistently out, Peach is caught out by an excellent catch from Light Blue Yoshi. I think I was calling him Blue Yoshi before, excuse me. Light Blue Yoshi at that second base position. What a play! It has now been 6 half innings since we've seen a run scored by either team. One pop-out inning from either team could, well, either seal the fate or make this an absolute barn burner of a matchup. Funky Kong wants to be the guy. They are far apart outfielders in this field, and it will allow the single shot home run from Funky Kong to be the first home run of this game. That should be something that's stated out loud. The outfielders are so close in that deep home run shots, especially if well placed up the middle, have a pretty good chance of escaping this field. Toadsworth is also one of the slower runners for an outfielder, but still, good job. Now Tiny Kong at the bat. Only one out, so low pressure on her. She'll pop out to Fireball at shortstop, and the captain DK. We'll see if he learns anything from his cousin. Chargers against Peach. Strong hit. This one's curved a little bit more to the right. There is chemistry, but Toadsworth doesn't hustle. It's barely inside the field. That's why he wasn't hustling. Just inches away from flying out. Though, to be fair, if the field was smaller, Toadsworth probably would have hustled for the super jump. I have very little doubt about that. So, probably would have been the same result either way. Don't forget to drink water. You're so right. Now it's DK to continue being the pitcher that the Monarchs need. Really one of the strongest pitchers we've seen. This is speed on these fastballs. You wouldn't expect him to be able to last very long, but morale is staying high and that arm is looking sharp. If he can force outs from PD Piranha and Boomerang Bro, the pop fly from PD Piranha leads to a good home run chunk from the Monarchs, but the outfield is more than in position there. God, you can hear the bat snap, which isn't a good sign when the bat is PD Piranha's arm. What a hit, and more importantly, what an amazing outfield play from the musicians. Boomerang Bro will now have to see if he's able to do anything in this inning, but God, these fastballs from DK just means that there's no real chance for the batters to prepare, and it's 3 up, 3 out in a dangerous part of the Monarchs rotation. Okay. 4 innings left, 4 runs to go. A pop-out inning from the musicians is all they really need. Dixie Kong, can she be that player? No. She grounds out to shortstop, Fireball, proving why the bros in that shortstop second base combo are so hard to sneak a ball past. But no, the captain Miku is the one who successfully sneaks the ball out to left field and scores a single. Now it's the Toad they trade for. Todayama, lot of nerves on his shoulders after being traded away from the Spitballs and replacing a Toad on this team. Well, he does more than enough and makes a statement against the Toad team with that single. Now it's YP up, run on first, run on second. Good opportunity for a charge hit if they go for it. Charges, slaps it, up center field. No, falls right into Toadette's hands. I got there. Toadette's hands for the second out of the inning. Light Blue Yoshi with excellent ball placement knocks it fair and allows the Captain Miku to run home and make this a 3-run game. What placement from Light Blue Yoshi. Wow. Right on that third baseline. The runners don't feel confident to try to advance off the shell, and to be fair, they might not have had enough time. Though you would want to see more confidence from Toriyama. Well, the inning ends as Tato pops it to the shortstop position. Still, the musicians are dragging themselves back into this game and putting pressure on Peach. If they can get past Peach, the Monarchs pitching staff is known to fold. The same could be said of the musicians though, and more pressure will definitely be put on Donkey Kong in this game. The pop fly from Magic Koopa is barely saved by the Boo. That is a rare play we see off a Boo that could only be possible in a stadium where the outfielders are placed so far forward. That turns an out into a double. Not that it will matter, as YP turns the double play, catching Firebow's bat and immediately turning it to Light Blue Yoshi. Clears the bases, Dark Bones up, Dark Bones line drive, Dark Bones gone. 3 batters, 3 outs. It's not 3 up, 3 out, but it is a clean inning for the musicians as they shut down the Monarchs in the top of the 7th. And after a good 7th inning stretch, there's only 3 runs separating these teams. If the musicians can exhaust that starting pitcher of Peach, but they would need to do so against, yeah, you don't expect a bomb to be typically enough there. It will trigger the Grave, which could come into play later. Funky Kong flies out to center field. Tiny Kong now up to bat. Good placement on it to right field will net her a single. Now I'll remind some coaches that is a play that no defensive team would have made. No offensive team would have made. DK now at the plate. Kind of want to see a home run from the main. No. Oh, but the line drive is too powerful. What would have been a double play against most other batters is at least kept to 1 because Magic Koopa has to spend most of his balance just staying on his feet. Dixie Kong. Can she start the 2-run rally for the musicians? It looks like she will, as another Grave in the outfield is activated, and the Captain Miku, who started the offense last inning, keeps the offense going in this one. Bases are loaded, 2 outs. Dangerous position for both teams. And it's up to Toriyama, PT, Purple Toad, who the musicians traded for, to navigate his way past the star pitch. He does so beautifully. The ghost interference. But the power block also interferes with the base runner. It doesn't matter. Dixie Kong and Miku. No, Miku stays at third base and 2 runners navigate home. The double play is more than enough for the musicians. Sorry, double run play is more than enough for the musicians. This is now a 1-run game, and most terrifyingly, if you're a Monarchs fan, Peach is starting to tire. The 2-run rally that the musicians are so famous for breaks Peach's back and brings Magic Koopa up. Magic Koopa is by no means a bad pitcher, but not one known to stay on the mound. YP tries to capitalize, but the deep hit will remain in the field. And with no item support, that is an inning sealed for the musicians. They make this a 1-run game off small ball, small ball, small ball. Okay. Consistency in the middle to late half of the musicians. We're kind of seeing a bit of the same comeback that the FireEggs did. But now they need to shut down the Monarchs. It shouldn't be that hard for them as they're facing the weakest part of the Monarchs lineup. That does mean they will face the strongest part of the Monarchs lineup at the top of the 9th if they get 3 up, 3 out here. And it looks like that's exactly what they're going for. First runner grounds out to second base. Second runner grounds out to the pitcher off a star pitch from DK. Third runner, Peach, watches the first pitch. Strikes on the second, but grounds out to shortstop. YP able to field that more than fast enough. And the star pitcher for the Musicians will last through inning number 9. Meanwhile, the Musicians with a chance to do damage against this Monarchs team. Light Blue Yoshi is not able to start it. He's caught out by Boomerang Bro. You gotta hit it a little bit higher, a little bit harder if you want to escape this infield. Tato. I promise that's Tato. Watches 2 balls fly past her to start. Charges on the third and feels confident knocking it to the outfield. There's item support, but a shell is usually not going to be able to stop that type of play. And it won't here. Second out now against the Musicians. Funky Kong charges. He's the one who scored the solo shot homer and the only homer so far in this game for 2 offensively loaded teams. Charges against a changeup, but no. Again, the shell usually isn't able to break up this level of play, and it won't here. Pop fly to the left field. 3 up, 3 out for the Musicians. This comes down to inning number 9. Can the Monarchs put any more damage against the top pitcher for the Musicians, DK, to seal this game? Well, Toadsworth will manage to get on base off a bobble from Light Blue Yoshi. You can't really be that bad at him, as most players wouldn't even be able to catch that ball, let alone afford a bobble, so I'm not upset at him. The line drive from Petey, though, will put 2 runners on. DK is starting to tire, and this is the last section of the Monarchs lineup you can afford to tire against. But Boomerang Bro knocks it lightly and forces a double play. The runner is on third. Magic Koopa is up. Can he retire DK? Toadsworth is going for a stealing attempt. The bunt. The power block interfunks all the runners, but no, it'll just mean that Toriyama is able to turn that play and stop the, Monarchs from doing anything at the top of the 9th inning. It is a 1-run game. The Musicians with a chance from their captain as the second batter in this inning. It all comes down to this. Tiny Kong, first up. Can she do any damage against Magic Koopa? This is not a hard pitcher to break, but there hasn't exactly been a lot of runaway to try to break this pitcher. Tiny Kong now faces 2 strikes. On the third, it's a weak hit and she'll ground out to shortstop. That's only 1 out. Donkey Kong, the sub-captain, needs to go big for the Musicians here. Charges. First ball is a ball. Second ball. Charges. Hits it high. Hits it deep. Hits it out of here. That is a DK solo shot homer to tie up this game. Oh my God. The Musicians have, at the very least, guaranteed themselves overtime, but can they guarantee themselves a win? Dixie Kong with 1 out, pressure against her. Can she break Magic Koopa? A good shot out to center. Shallow left field will get a single. Magic Koopa starts to tire now. Runner on first. A double play against the captain would end this inning and force us into overtime. Miku watches the first ball. Second ball coming in now. Charges against it. Hits it deep and hits it foul. That's 2 strikes. Pressure on the captain now with a runner on first. Just gonna slap it. Hits it over Boomerang Bro. That's a single. That'll at least mean that the Musicians can keep going in this inning. 1 out. Runner in scoring position. It's the player they traded for. Toriyama at home plate. Tie game. Charges the bat. Line drive. Caught by Boomerang Bro for the double play. We're going to extra innings. The The pressure is on! The Musicians, the only team to go 2 extra innings so far in this game, are the team that will go there again against the Monarchs. And in their darkest hour, when they need him most, DK is too tired and Dixie Kong is forced to take the mound against a fired up Fire Bro. First ball is a strike. Second ball, deep hit to right field. Can Tiny Kong make it? No. Fire Bro will reach on a single. I gotta calm down. Dark Bones now, a surprise slugger. But if Tiny Kong can navigate this, she'll be against weaker batters. The ball goes straight to Funky Kong for the double play. That means that we're in a weak part of the Monarchs batting rotation with 2 outs. Dixie Kong can force a bad hit from Toadette here to secure the third out in the top of the 10th. 2 balls, 1-1 count. Third ball will successfully get to center field for a single. Toadette on base, 2 outs. Blue Toad now, if he wants to keep this inning alive, needs to try to manage this defense, but no, it's Light Blue Yoshi, the key defensive player who locks down that inning. The Musicians just need 1 run, and who could be more poetic to do it than the slugger himself? YP charges, slaps it straight up the middle, but no! This deep field means that ball will not be out of here. It's a single, but Magic Koopa, will he be taken off the mound? No, he wants to try to see this out. Light Blue Yoshi needs to avoid the double play, slaps it. That infield is so hard to escape, though, when that double play is exactly what happens. That means that Tato is the last chance for the Musicians to keep this going, but 2 outs is where the Musicians have always been known to thrive. The ball is hit straight to Firebro. We're going to inning number 11. The Musicians are not able to seal it in the bottom of the 10th, and now it's up to the Monarchs to do damage in the top of the 11th. Peach and Toadsworth, not the batters you want to see in such a clutch situation, but the captain puts it on her shoulders, charging early and knocking a beautiful hit to center left. It'll only be a single, but it'll set up potential interference later in the game. Toadsworth now comes up to bat. Unfortunately, hits it straight to YP for the double play. That means that Petey Piranha, if he can make it through, will get through to the strongest part of the Monarchs batting rotation. Otherwise, Dixie Kong, the clutch pitcher, could pull this one out for the Musicians. The ball is hit deep, but with no item. Oh no, the grave. Oh no, the grave. No, it's fine. We're fine. Grave interference is not the reason that the Monarchs pull this one out. No, they're stopped. I am so happy I installed the mod for infinite extra innings. Oh my god. Otherwise, it would only be 3. Funky Kong, the man who scored the home run earlier, is only able to score a single. But that means, pending disaster, yes, DK might have runners on base. He will. Oh no! Fireball makes the catch! The absolutely insane catch to turn the double play, and the man who sent us to extras with a solo shot homer. His line drive will go foul, but he has to do it alone with 2 outs on the scoreboard. Faces Magic Koopa, charges up again, hits it deep. The man who sends us into overtime will walk off homer. This game is over. The Musicians clutch it out off 2 solo shot homers from Donkey Kong, and in the best game we've seen in Grand Slam Galaxy history, the Musicians prove themselves the overtime team and win the game 6-7. Oh my god! Holy shit! That is the longest overtime we've had. The only other overtime we had was a single inning. What an incredible matchup between the Monarchs and the Musicians. What an incredible field. Goodbye, darling. What an incredible field. What an incredible game. As the Monarchs and the Musicians take each other to the ends of the earth. And there's only one player who can get MVP honors after such a clutch game from the sub-captain. Donkey Kong will take home that MVP title. Oh my God. Give me a second to collect myself. What a game. That's baseball, baby. Baseball is back, baby. Amazing play from the Musicians to not just come back, to not just shut down the Monarchs after they got off to an incredible start, but the sub-captain DK is the one to make sure this game stays within reach. The Monarchs, who have not, I think, made any roster changes or any field changes since the start of the season, will continue to prove themselves an amazing contender for the postseason. But their job is going to be a lot harder after the Musicians take home that game. DK, what an incredible player. Comes through and pitches some of the meanest fastballs that we've seen. Comes through and hits the dingers that the Musicians need. I don't know what else there is to say. The field was an interesting one and caused problems for the Musicians early on. I'll start with that. You were scared for the Musicians, honestly, after they faced deep line drive after deep line drive. Oh, because the Monarchy has fallen. Fair enough. You expected trouble for the Musicians after deep line drive after deep line drive from the Monarchs resulted in just incredible early pressure. But those 6 runs in the first 2 innings for the Monarchs were all they were able to nab after DK came up to the mound. The game was sealed, and you would think after Dixie Kong, of all pitchers, was taken in from the outfield to clean up the game, you would think that would be when the opening opens up, but no. The Monarchs were not able to capitalize off it, despite having the top of their rotation to attempt to do so. Despite going through the hardest hitters, none of them were able to deliver in this game. It's possible they just came up short. It's possible that the pressure of overtime was one that the Musicians were used to, and the Monarchs couldn't find themselves comfortably inside of. No matter what, you gotta look at just the overall scoreboard here. No one on the Monarchs even broke 70 points, and that was only Boomerang Bro. Meanwhile, 4 players for the Musicians came in clutch to secure that overtime win. What a game. Oh my God. What an incredible game. Alright, that just means more pressure on the Musicians as they'll go into their next outing against the Monarchs next Playday. Yes, unfortunately, we won't have a Playday this Saturday. I need to say that now. The next Playday will be on Tuesday. So the next Playday will be in a week. But, wow. Just wow. Alright. From there, we go into game number 3. This game is going to be the up-and-comers versus the strugglers. It's going to be the Bows versus the Rookies as... Hi.
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 I'm going to interrupt real fast and go ahead and take over for a minute because you need to go get some good hot water to drink of some kind so that your throat is properly taken care of.
Is cold water good enough?
Yeah, that's fine. As long as you have something.
I'll be right back.
There we go. That was a phenomenal game from everybody. That was absolutely wonderful. As much as people are upset that they didn't get as far as they were hoping for, you've got to admit that was an excellent turnaround. And if any coaches would like to pop in and speak, they can feel free to.
I can't believe we had those awesome 2-3 games, and I come back to this. This fucking bullshit.
But you did. You worked hard for it, though. You got all the way here.
I'll take it, I guess.
You've been doing so hard. Something like that.
Yikes. That's all right. Now that I understand, now that I understand it,
I think you can definitely do a rebound.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, eventually, but I do want to try a different team composition.
I apologize to the stream because I recognize the fact that our two guest commentators of Fab and Miles, hello by the way, were incredibly loud.
We were loud? Uh-oh.
Yes, not on your side. I just had the way I had the audio balanced for Mario Baseball was just, it made you super loud. So my bad.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Feel free to continue. Thank you for taking care of your health.
Hey, Fab. Are you gonna play some Helldivers? That sounds
off stream. Get off stream. I've got 2 more games to go.
Ooh, okay.
Go play some Helldivers. Okay. Well, after that barn burner, we have the potential for another one. The Bows, the last place team, up against the Rookies Ascendant. This would be a hell of an upset if the Bows are able to pull it off, and they'll have to do so at the trouble of not having home field advantage. The Rookies will take us back to Wario City Night, a stadium that the Bows have repeatedly struggled on, Wario City, and with the slugger potential of the Bows, we can expect a bit of a drag-out brawl here, at least from them, if they're able to capitalize on the Bows' perceived weakness before. The Bows, on the other hand, will go into this game with no outfield chemistry, and not a lot of potential to build up that outfield chemistry. So the question is whether or not their pitching staff can deny the slugging team those home field shots. That's the question. Despite the efficiency of Mies as players, they're not sluggers. Bowser Jr., not typically a slugger, so we'll be looking at Critter, Brown Critter, and Hammer Bro. What can they do in this game? What damage can they pile on against this pitching lineup? We'll see exactly what happens. It should be noted, of course, that the Rookies don't have an opportunity, since the Monsters won, to score themselves in first place. But no matter what, there will be at least 1 win over second. If they win here, they will be 2 wins over second and be more than secure in that second bye position. So, as the Bows trudge back to Wario City It's up to the rookies to see whether or not they can rack up the score or whether the Bows can find their feet as a defensive team. But first, as always, we need to do a prayer to RNGesus as Bows management is so clear for. You can hear my voice starting to crack. I'm gonna have to calm down a little bit. I'm gonna have to bring my voice a little bit more forward in my throat to stop me from tearing it apart. All right, a prayer to RNGesus. Rage Relief, Captivate, Night, Fate, Rehabilitation, Change, Mean, Column, Girl, President, Office, Abolish, Not, Clue, Engine, Prestige, Vessel, Mars, Factory, Flu, Ceiling, Twilight, Bar, Coffee, Impress, Sex, Mistreat, Wreck, Star, Locate, Train, Object, Plan, Sweep, Clay, Theater, Revolutionary, Registration, Cream, Sulfur, Prevent, Colorful, Fun, Wheat, Norm, Champion, Part, Workers. I technically made it through. That last word was dress. I realized I didn't really say it correctly. Alright, the rookies with home field advantage try to keep up their domination streak in the second half of this season. The Bows coming back to Warrior City to see if they can redeem themselves on what has been traditionally a very tricky field. I forgot to verify fielding positions real quick. Looks to me like we're all good over on the Bows side, and on the rookies side. Yep, all good for the rookies. The rookies ascendant face the Bows. The last chance maybe for the Bows to really try to make a push to make it to the postseason starts right now as we begin game number 3 of Playday 9 here in Grand Slam Galaxy. Alright, now offensive slugfests tend to be the longer games. So it's a good thing I got water. Thanks, babe. Yellow Yoshi, who traditionally for the Bows has gotten that star power up, will have to go without it as he'll start off this game with a nice single. Meanwhile, the woman who has gotten the star power up, Birdo, charges early and damn, that line drive. That was a fast ball. She'll make sure that her and Yellow Yoshi advance to second and third respectively. And Statler, the main man, returns to the active Bows lineup. Charges up, but not fully, and unfortunately catches himself in a bind. Neither the second nor third base runner are caught out by the finickiness, though. And it means that Yellow Magic Koopa will have to be the one to try to take the first runner home in this game. Slap out to left field will not do exactly that, as Yellow Yoshi does not opt to move, and Birdo has to scramble back to second base. Now it's Yellow Shy Guy with a chance. Loaded bases means that there's a lot of danger if he can't clear the infield, but a charge knocks it high, knocks it deep. There's chemistry out there, but the sacrifice fly attempt is not enough. The chemistry catch from Brown Critter and in the outfield. Yellow Yoshi assumes that the sac fly kept them safe, and if it was a normal sac fly, it would have been, but no. The chemistry play means that the rookies are able to bring that ball home plenty fast. That is not a play. Was that even item support? That is not a play we expect to see ever from in the CPU League. That was impressive. Wow. I want to believe in Shy Guy's game. Well, bad start for the captain on the Monsters, as he'll pop out immediately to shortstop. Of course, not a lot of pressure, on the rookies, not the monsters, as the Bows were unsuccessful in scoring on early. Now it's up to Yellow Shy Guy, the starting pitcher, to deny home run chances. It's foul. And the first attempt from Green Critter goes foul. Second attempt, line drive up the third baseline will result in a double play, and it'll mean that the Bows have no damage dealt to them in inning number 1. Now it's up to the Bows. They do have possible sluggers on their team. Blue Drybones is one of them. Can he lead his team's offense with a charge hit out to left field? Well, it's another home run attempt, but this one stays fair, and first blood is drawn by the Bows as the solo shot from Blue Shy Guy lands in the perfect position to escape the defense. What a shot! It lands on the outfield fence. A more beautiful shot you could not ask for from the Blue Drybones, excuse me. Wow! Now it's Blue Shy Guy's turn to try to see what he can make of it. He'll force the first 2 strikes. The third line drive to third base will result in a ground out, though. Now it's Drybones. Hopefully a little bit invigorated with life from his colorful cousin, but no. He'll ground out to second base. Now put 2 outs up against the Bows in this inning, as Gray Shy Guy will come in to try to clean up. And he will evade the offense just enough. A good pop to left field to keep a runner on and keep this inning going for the Bows. Unfortunately, Yellow Yoshi won't have the same luck he did in inning 1 and ends the inning by popping it to that shortstop position. 1 run for the Bows. They do get first blood, but against an offensive team like the Rookies, well, you need a lot more than that. Cookie, at least, keeps the head cool and keeps the movement going. She'll take advantage of the arrows in the outfield to net her a double. Honestly, just from ball placement, it might have been a double anyway. But now it's Hammerblow. Easily Yellow Shy Guy's greatest challenge. Can he navigate past the slugger? Star hit goes foul. That's 1 attempt from Hammerblow. He'll get a response with a star pitch, but the charge up hit out of the field with no chemistry means that the runs start here. That's a 2-run shot as Cookie and Hammerblow touch home plate. And the Rookies start off their offense. Now it's Bouncer facing down Yellow Shy Guy. Can he retire the pitcher with this single out to center field? Maybe. It would give a chance for the starred player Birdo to come in and start locking up her team's pitching staff. In the meantime, we'll have her chance. And a beautiful chance it is as she knocks a clean ball out to left field. That'll be 2 singles in a row from the Mies. And no swap from the pitching staff means that Brown Critter charges up against a weak pitch. He'll hit it foul. 1 more strike from Yellow Shy Guy, if he can manage it, will mean that Brown Critter won't charge, but no. Brown Critter charges it up, hits it deep, and on a field like this, that just means it's a 3-run homer from him. And that's 5 runs and 2 homers from the Rookies in only inning number 2. And to be expected, that means that Yellow Shy Guy is taken off the mound, placed in that key second base position, and Birdo, the captain, will be coming to pitch for her team. She starred, so her pitching is even more devastating than it should be, and don't believe her stats from spring training. Birdo can be a devastating pitcher when it's needed, proving herself in the position in the Winter CPU Classic. But she'll have a hell of a team to prove herself against, as John Cena nades a single, and Yellow Shy Guy, swapped to that second base position, immediately proves himself by turning a clean double play to clean the bases. Brock now facing 2 outs all of a sudden against his team. Fastball from Berto easily finds its way past him. Second fastball knocked and manages to find its way up the middle. It'll be a single for Brock. Berto instead tries to get it past Critter, but unfortunately there's not a lot of luck for the Dino Princess either. Once again, for the second time this inning? No. The rookies have 3 power hitters. Critter, Hammerbow, Brown Critter. All 3 score home runs in 1 inning as they round their batting order and score 7 runs against only 2 outs. Finally, at what was the start of this inning, Cookie pops a fly out to Dry Bones at that shortstop position, and here we go. The Bows, brought to Warrior Stadium before and taken out on it before with devastating efficiency. At least Berta wants to make a play for her team and will do so. She'll continue the home run derby with a quick shot out to right field to at least tell her team, listen, we can score home runs too. It should be said, that's 2 home runs for the Bows, 3 home runs for the rookies. The difference is that the rookies got home runs with runners on. So whereas that's 7 runs against the Bows, well, their 2 home runs only result in 2 on the scoreboard. And the next 2 batters aren't able to turn much either, as both Yellow Magic Koopa and, I didn't remember who, I believe is Shy Guy, knock themselves out of contention. Yellow Shy Guy himself also quickly nets it out. And the Bows do score 1, but they need to shut down these home run hitters from the rookies if they want a chance in this game. Hammerbow is the newest obstacle to face for Berto. Charges up. It's a semi-charge, but it's still more than enough. Devastating power from the rookies is what you expect, and devastating power is what we're going to get. Maybe it's too early to bring this up. It should be said that the league record for runs was set on this stadium against the Bows by the Monarchs. That was 32 runs. So we'll be watching the Bows with great interest as at least one batter knocks out to Yellow Shy Guy at that second base position. Not a lot of pressure on her with only 1 out in the inning. Doesn't help as she also knocks it straight to Yellow Shy Guy in that second base position for another out. We're back to another home run hitter. Brown Critter comes to the plate. He doesn't want to charge though, and weak contact to third base means that at least the Bows escape the inning with relatively little damage. 1 run against them from another homer. And will the home run derby continue? I want to point out now that is 4 half innings in a row where we've seen a home run. Blue Drybones, who performed the first home run of this game, will settle for a single now. 1 run on the board, 1 base. It's all the same to this man, and Blue Shy Guy unfortunately will not be able to advance the runner. He knocks it straight to second base, and Hammerbow quickly turns the double play. Dry Bones. I've talked up his slugging. He'll hit it deep, but unfortunately, the chemistry in the outfield means that's an easy catch for and Brown Critter. That means, I believe it's not 3 up, 3 out. There was a double play. But it's a quick inning against the Bows as they will go scoreless in the top of the 4th. Excuse me. Opportunity for the Bows. There's no home run sluggers in the next 3 batters if they can manage to knock them away cleanly. The fastball attempts from Berto try it, but John Cena still knocks away the single to left field. Now it's Bowser Jr.'s turn. He'll face a suction ball from Berto and will find himself whiffing against air, almost with enough time to reset himself on position. The charge hit from the captain does find the perfect spot in the outfield. It'll net him just a single, but it will allow John Cena to advance all the way to third. Should be noted how much closer this outfield railing is compared to Luigi's Mansion, say. And Brock with the single will allow the runner to advance from third to home as the first home run caliber hitter of the game, of the inning, comes up to the plate. Green Critter knocks it foul, but he's got 2 runners on and plenty of chances here. Charges up on the second hit. It's deep. It's straight. It's gone. That is another 3-run homer against the Bows. Yeah, we're going to be here for a while. Let me do you a solid. Let me find out what Berto's star pitch is called, because they are all named. Her star pitch is called... I just said suction ball. It is called a suction ball. That is the official name for it. It's called a suction ball. It should be said, no outs yet for the rookies as Cookie, clean single, knocks one up the middle. Yellow Magic Koopa now facing down Hammerbo, who charges early. With a starred player and the captain taken off, well, that's bad news for the defense as the home run derby continues. Hammerbo knocks one clean line drive up the middle. You have got to avoid shallow fields against this team, but what can you do? In the format that we've got, it's impossible to stop them from capitalizing in this game. That does mean 14 by the 4th. The rookies are well on pace to blast past the run record. Bouncer will continue that plan as he'll net a single. You cannot convince me they did not do that on purpose. No comment. Now, with a chance to put 2 runners on for a star hitter, Brown Critter, who's already knocked away 1 3-run homer this game. The ball does find its way perfectly up the center. That'll mean 2 runners on. Maybe I should make some tea, because this is going to take a while. No! It stays in the field. Brown Critter's line drive caught by Gray Shy Guy at the fence. And that means that the Bows do have an opportunity to try to escape this inning without any more John Cena knocks the ball clean into right field. And the 3-run homer will go to Ami. The Jackets score their homer. The first homer of theirs for this game. Welcome to a Bows game. The question is just how high will the scorecard run? And it's got to be said, from the rookies, what else can you expect? They have had a terrifying offense ever since their trade, I believe, with the Bows. Let me double check. No, it was with the Flowers. Excuse me. It It was a trade with the Flowers who gained the Brown Critter and Brown Me, who brought them this terrifying offensive package of 2 critters and a Hammer Bro. After they got yelled at to put the Hammer Bro back on their team. Green Critter with a line drive out to the outfield will net a solid double. Him and Brock will advance to second and third base scoring position as Cookie, who I believe started this inning, but I don't remember, comes back on and knocks a clean hit out to right field that'll drive 2 more runners in, especially off the power block. You're never going to let me live that down, huh? I need that to be in my back pocket when your team 2-0s my team. Next series, I need that. Redirections help the Bows as it stops the double from Hammer Bro in that center left position. Instead, it's only a single. 2 outs now. Dry Bones has to try to force some sort of weakness off bouncer. And Yellow Shy Guy with a glove too big for his little body ends the inning, and it's only 11 for the rookies in that inning. Let me just double check right now. 19. Okay, so they're on track right now since they're not going to bat in the 9th inning. They're on track right now for a 38-run game. The record is, we just checked, 32. The bobble, though, from Brown Critter will allow Gray Shy Guy to get a double. And that's very necessary. Hello, Calvi. Do you want to see a home run derby? Welcome, all new audience members, to Grand Slam Galaxy, a CPU Mario Super Sluggers League, held by me, your commissioner, Willie or Won'ty. The home run attempt, though, caught by Brown Critter and it should be said. Excellent defensive play from them. You never know, they could get 17 runs to tie this. The Bows, for context for all our new viewers. Oh my god. Oh, the captain hit wasted on the pitcher. Cookie takes one for the team and clears the ball so that Hammer Bro is able to reel that one in. We've seen, real quick, on the Monarchs, Peach's Monarchs, how Fire Bro and Boomwing Bro are so clutch in that second base and shortstop position. But Hammer Bro proved clutch here and keeps the Bows scoreless in the 5th. For context for everyone, Birdo's Bows, currently in this 8-team league, at the bottom of the standings, with, I believe, a 1-win, 7-loss record in this season for them. Meanwhile, the rookies, as we're on Playday 9, 8 games have been played, they started off as a middling to bottom team having a little bit of trouble, but after a lot of good trades, shot up and are now securely in 2nd place in this league with a 7-2 record. 6-2 record? Is it 6-2? Yes, 6-2 record from the rookies. So now it's up to them, after the Bows shut down their offense, to try to rack up their run differential, basically. Now for the Bows, Yellow Magic Koopa will knock away a single and at least start the offense for their team in this game. Yellow Shy Guy now will try to keep the magic going. Can he avoid this infield and avoid the double play, especially off such a talented infielder as Hammer Bro? Yes, they can. Amazing ball placement. You saw Hammer Bro go for it, but just barely miss it, as now a run on first and second, and the player who scored the first home run for this game flies out. The runners were so confident in it, so confident in that ball escaping this park, that they ran all the way too far to second and third, and what looked like a home run quickly turned into a triple play against the Bows. What a play from the rookies to turn that around and really seal the offensive fate of Birdo's team. But now, the defense of the Bows is coming live. Shy Guys on second and shortstop position turn the double play and deny anything else. But again, without any outfield chemistry, without any ability to buddy jump, they will successfully navigate past Critter and force 3 outs very quickly from the rookies, who they've successfully shut down 2 innings in a row. Well done from the Bows. They're not winning. They're down 17 runs, but it looks like the run record for the league will not be shattered today. Or at least pending a disastrous late game from the Bows, which against such an explosive team could still be possible, but instead explosiveness comes in small packages as Dry Bones knocks away that solo shot homer. This is a hell of a home run park. This is what impresses me about Wario City. Somehow it's an even better home run park than Daisy Cruiser historically. Maybe it's just because the bigger swingy teams prefer to come here over day. No way. Okay, that scared me. Shy Guy flies out at center field, almost a home run, but not quite. Maybe it's because the slugger teams, as Yellow Yoshi grounds out to shortstop and we swap sides, like to come here instead of Daisy Cruiser. But it feels like whenever a slugger team has gone to Daisy Cruiser, any team that isn't the rookies has underperformed. Meanwhile, we go to Wario City and it's just home run derbies from both teams. 3 home runs from the Bows against a very competent rookies defense. And a number of home runs from the rookies as Hammerbo charges up. Dry Bones. What are we at now? The quaternary pitcher for the Bows? Well, he will force the out from Hammerbo. That line drive doesn't clear the field and keeps Cookie, the me, honest on first. Bouncer, the me, grounds out to shortstop, and it's another scoreless inning. The rookies in the last 3 innings have scored less than the Bows. They'll only have 1 more chance at the plate. This is excellent defensive play from the Bows, and it's what they needed if they wanted to avoid the home run derby from the rookies. As long as those home run shots don't come, the lack of outfield chemistry doesn't matter. Statler, on the mean hand, with an excellently placed ball, doesn't run off the boo item play, so it will only be a single for him. Yellow Magic Koopa with a chance against a tired Cookie. Grounds out to shortstop, which allows the double play at the end of the inning, meaning no more runs for the Bows this inning. They'll only have 1 shot left, but before that, they need to shut down the rookies' offense 1 more time. As the start of this will ground out to that second base position. The Shy Guys are doing admirably. Dry Bones has to find his way past Brown Critter though, and it's another home run hitter who isn't able to do it. The pow block and the ball redirection means that he's able to run all the way to second. Solid double from the Critter. At least it's not a home run, and it means that we've got a long time before another home run caliber hitter comes up. I say, John Cena already scored a 3-run homer, but the star hit doesn't bounce its way out of Yellow Magic Koopa's glove. Almost any other fielder in the league, that ball would have bounced fair and let Brown Critter advance and let the runner get on first, but no. Sticky hands from the Magic Koopa means that was an out. Bowser Jr. follows it up with a single, which allows Brown Critter to advance to home. So it is at least 1 RBI for the Bows, and their next home run hitter, Green Critter, comes up to the plate and charges early to try to secure 1 more home run in this inning. That ball is hit high, That ball is hit straight. That is another 3-run homer for the Monsters to tie a bow on this game. Shy Guys do not have chemistry with each other. No character has chemistry with itself, with the exception of Mii's of opposite gender. This game came out in 2008. So unless you're Cookie, who's a female Green Mii, and Bouncer and Bach, who are male Green Miis, no character has chemistry with itself. Incredible defensive play there, actually, from Gray Shy Guy, it should be said, to keep the ball in play and avoid Cookie from getting an IM-assisted double. Now it's the slugger Hammerbow. Charges up. Hits it foul. Hits it foul. Did I call them the Monsters? The Rookies, excuse me. Okay. Let on first. Let on second. Bouncer up. After him. This is going to be the best chance that the Bows have to end this Rookie's offense. And they will do just that. Bouncer grounds out to shortstop. And the Bows again as a team. I'm not sure anyone would have been able to stand up to the Rookie's offense. It is just a question of whether, honestly, there's kind of a question of how much outfield synergy would have been able to stop the Rookie's offense. Those home runs, when they came, were fast and they were devastating. So, full credit to the Rookies. It's not just a home run showcase against the Bows. It's a home run showcase by the Rookies. As Blue Shy Guy comes up to the plate, Shy Guy before him came into a double play, so the next out will be it for the Bows. Blue Shy Guy pops. No way. Really? Is that how we're going to end this game? Okay. On what looked like a home run from Blue Shy Guy, the ball falls inches short. And the Bows keep up their streak of, scoring 3 runs in Warrior City. It's their opponent who takes home run derby, and after an amazing first half of the game, the Rookies may have had less offensive pressure, but it was still more than enough to secure the 20-run victory, and end this game 3-23. Which home run star gets MVP honors? Well, it's 2 of them, as Hammerbow and Critter both score the MVP honors for this game, which feels more than fair. Listen, the Bows are a known thing at this point. They're the last team to not have outfield chemistry, and that results in relatively easy home runs against them. I think that their showings through the second half of this game means that even with that, they have potential to stand up to the defense. Unfortunately, I think unless they turn it around next game and beat the Rookies, they will be all but mathematically eliminated from a postseason appearance. If they can turn it against the Rookies, it'd be an amazing game. So we'll see what they're able to produce next week. Meanwhile, the Rookies, the Devastator, watching the Bows hit a homer. Chris Paul hits a huge 3 to cut the lead down to 42. Ouch. Ouch. Meanwhile, the devastating offensive pressure of the Bowser Jr. Rookies continues. It should be said next series they face off against the Monsters, and honestly, depending on the bands, depending on the stadiums, I have very little doubt that the Monsters will have a lot of trouble against this team. No team has successfully been able to shut down this level of power and consistency from not just the 3 home run caliber hitters, Brown, Critter, and Hammerbow, but also the consistency that comes from a team full of jackets. The Miis play their part, and Bowser Jr., the captain, leads them to victory. As I paste in this result, for the Bows versus the Rookies. Honestly, if I was a Bows fan, I'm not devastated. We've seen more devastating games against them. This is still showing just as much potential and promise should they come back next season, which I would love that if they would. I think at this point, it's about learning the game, about learning your players, and about setting yourself up for that next season run. If they don't score the craziest run back of all time and somehow win their next 5 games back to back to back to back to back to clinch a playoff position, which would be absolutely wild, and I really hope it happens. But when you've got the Rookies as your opponent to start that journey, it'd be a hard journey for anyone. Now, we're going to move on. Yeah, the Bows are now 1-8 is their record. We're going to move on to the last game of the Playday, and a terrifying game it is. Let me set the scene for you. It's the Spitballs versus the Flowers. The loser of this game is officially, pending double checking the run. No, the loser of this game is officially in that dreaded 7th team slot. As a reminder for everybody, this is an 8-team league. 6 teams advance to the playoffs. First and second seed get a bye. The other 4 teams scrap it out to make it further. The Spitballs and the Flowers are in 6th and 7th, both with a 3-5 record. Whoever wins this game stays in 6th. Maybe, depending on the results, advances up to 5th. The loser of this game is locked in that dreaded 7th spot for now. Lots of games left to play, but the closer we get to that postseason, the more you really want to secure your position higher up the scoreboard. Both these teams, different stories coming this late into the league. I'll recap it for everybody. The Spitballs were a team that struggled early. Their first series was 0-2 against the Monsters, but they found their footing later in the season, bringing stars like Miyamoto onto the field, locking down their outfield, which was a story for a lot of their teams in the season, and relying a little bit more on Waluigi's pitching power, finding their sluggers, and making a bit more of a name for themselves. They're still 3-5, but they've shown a lot more potential promise to make that postseason appearance. As the season goes on, this team only gets better and better. The Flowers, with a similar but different way to this 3-5 scoreline. We have hyped up the Flowers again and again and again and again. They are, in theory, a great, incredible defensive team. Yoshi's and Baby Daisy in the outfield ensures speed where they need it. Blue Pianta and Blue Critter for power, and in those key shortstop and second base positions. But it should be said, the only batter on this team that scores above a 6 rating in spring training was Blue Pianta, who has a great batting score. Don't get me wrong. But the Pianta is the only hard-hitting slugger on this team. Daisy has been known to drive away single-shot bombs, and when she's starred, like she has been since the start of the season, her batting power has that extra oomph. But she's at the start of her batting rotation, and not later with the setup and control. So the question for the Flowers has not been, can you lock down that defense, but who produces on offense? And they've been struggling to figure that out. Tyler 1 steps up, Daisy steps up, but we've yet to see the power that this team should be able to unlock really come together. That's the question as we go into this series with the Spitballs versus the Flowers. Two teams that have shown great potential. Two teams that have shown that they can be viable postseason teams. One of them will be put into that 7th standing slot. And we're going to have to find out here. Starred Captain Daisy versus starred Captain Waluigi. Both starting pitchers with their boyfriends at the catcher position at home plate. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for the last game of Playday number 9 of Grand Slam Galaxy. This one is going to be a player protest because I wasn't holding down the button to make it CPU versus CPU. Excuse me 1 second. Also, I should double check to make sure that there's no problems with the thing, but I was kind of mentally looking over the rosters beforehand and everything. Yeah, everything looks good to me. We are all set and ready to go. Which team shows their potential? Which team falls to 7th place and has to struggle all the more to reach the postseason? It's the Spitballs versus the Flowers on a very defensive stadium of Bowser Jr.'s Playroom. Flowers pick, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last game of Playday number 9, and it starts right here, right now. God, it's a good thing I got water. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I get to say that. It's, you know, there is actually an interesting storyline here. The two, maybe arguably overshadowed secondaries. Daisy to Peach, Waluigi to Wario. Daisy got her own game. But here's a question. Where do they end up in this series? The first batter for the Spitballs grounds out to third, I believe I saw, and the star pitch from Daisy puts pressure. The Bananas interfere, though, and allow Iwata to make it to first base. Excellent item usage, and probably the best item to counter that star pitch from Daisy. Unfortunately, Blooper hits it straight to Blue Pianta, and that'll result in a clean double play to send the Spitballs home scoreless at the top of the first. It should be said right here, right now, Bowser Jr.'s Playroom is a massive stadium. If I had to predict it, I would expect a defensive game from both these teams. One that you might look and say, oh, that should advantage the Flowers. They're the more defensive team. But I think lends some credence to the Spitballs. It makes the Flowers' strength stronger, by all means, but might just shore up a weakness for the Spitballs in this matchup. We're going to have to see which way it falls. I would give the stadium advantage to the Flowers, but we're going to have to see how they perform. Mr. Consistency Luigi got on base, but it won't matter as the double play will result from Blue Critter's hit, and it's Tyler 1 now, who has been such a clutch hitter for the Flowers again and again. Charges up the ball against a Waluigi star pitch, but still has to watch that trick fly. He'll settle for a slap on the second pitch, but, well, it's hard to go over Wiggler's head, isn't it? The pop fly will result in the out from Wiggler, and we are scoreless going into the second. Is that the first time today that no one scored in the first inning? No, actually, no one scored last game, and we all know how that went. Wiggler now. Oh, I just realized. It's Mr. Consistency versus Mr. Consistency. Luigi, who can't seem to not get a single and get on base, versus Wiggler, who can't seem to not get a single and get on base. However, unfortunately for Wiggler, he has teammates, and the bad hit from Reggie, well, let's not be honest, it was a pretty good hit, but the great fielding from Blue Critter turns the double play and clears the bases for Daisy. Now it's Yellow Toad, who was traded just recently from the Musicians to this team. A lot to prove on this man. A lot of pressure on him as he also sees play. We saw how what was his name? Yellow Toad, you're not on base. I was so busy trying to remember what Tojima's name was that I didn't even notice that Yellow Toad just stood off second base and let himself be caught out. I think he was intimidated by the banana and just like not sure whether to run for second or run for third and froze up. That is not what you want to see from the traded player. Hopefully we'll see better from him on defense. For the Flowers, Soda Poppin does reach first base, and Blue Yoshi now, well, keeps the defensive tirade going. He'll ground out to Blooper at second base position and allow the double play to end the inning for the Flowers. Now we get up to the captain's bats for the Spitballs. Captains performed pretty decently for the Flowers. How will they do on the Spitballs? Does Wario have the patience? Yes. Wario has the patience to watch the first start pitch fly and knocks that fastball from Daisy cleanly to the outfield. Excellent ball placement from him. The starred captain Waluigi now needs to try to navigate this starred pitcher. Charges up, strike. 2 strikes. Daisy's pitching close, so no strikeout. But excellent ball placement from Waluigi. I think that mirrors how Daisy and Luigi performed when they batted, but I'll have to refresh my memory. Singles from both the captains to get on base. There is a hell of a slugger. Green Dry Bones is a great slugger. I love the Dry Bones. But unfortunately for him, he faces down a Daisy star pitch, and the infield fly means that no item interference can come the defense's way. There wouldn't have been any item interference, but you know. Unfortunately, Iwata will end the offensive opportunities for the Spitballs as he hits into a double play, and him and the captain Waluigi are forced out. 5 half innings now, with no runs. Maybe what we were expecting on Bowser Jr.'s playroom. Waluigi, pitching against Baby Daisy, well, he'll be happy to knock out the baby form of the captain on a fly out to center field. Well, a decent hit out to center field. Pink Yoshi, however, will look to see on what they can capitalize on. First hit goes foul. Second pitch from Waluigi. Wants to trick him with a spin ball. But no, Pink Yoshi sees through it and drills a shot up to center for the single. That's a fast runner. That's exactly who you want as your leadoff hitter. Now it's back to the captains. Daisy, unfortunately, not able to secure her team a good power hit, though. Grounds out to Blooper at second base, and we're going into inning 4 with no runs on the board for either team. This will be a low-scoring game, which tends to mean that these games run fast. For a second there, I thought Blooper was bunting, but no, he just holds his bat a little bit weird. The clean hit up the center, though. The power block was unnecessary. That's just bullying a child. But the clean hit up the center will start to put pressure on Daisy, and maybe that's where we start to see both of these teams have a similar struggle. Where does the pitching go for these teams after the captains tire out? Both of them have a sub-captain. Luigi, for the Flowers, excellent double play off Blue Critter as he catches the ball from Mr. I need a nickname for Wiggler because Luigi is already Mr. Consistency, but it's rare to see Wiggler caught up in a double play. Excellent defense from Blue Critter. Excuse me. Reggie grounds out to Blue Critter as well, and we swap sides. But a storyline we might see later in this game. Pitching depth is a struggle for both these teams. After their star pitcher goes up and gets tired, it's the sub-captain that typically comes up. Who pitches after the sub-captain? Meh. They both got solid options. I mean, the Spitballs have Blooper, who is my boy. I do love Blooper on the pitching mound. He has gained my heart, if nothing else. And Mr. Consistency keeps it going, even though Wiggler couldn't. Meanwhile, on the Flowers side, their tertiary pitcher is like arguably one of the me's. Usually, I think Blue Critter or Blue Pianta likes to come up, who are kind of weaker. So they have a little bit less pitching depth. We'll see if that's what pushes the Spitballs over the line. First, they have to get there. And Blue Critter, with a line drive out to the outfield, will secure a double. That means that, Spitball's in danger. No outs, 2 runners in scoring position on second and third. And Tyler 1 finds the hit to the outfield. Hesitation from Luigi, though. Bad base running choice results in a close call. And unfortunately, that'll be runner's advantage. And Luigi, after almost not having the confidence to run home, finds the spine just in time, knocks away his rival, and scores the first run in this game. In a game like this, every run counts. And hey, I don't think that's going to be the end of it. There's a runner on third and no outs on the board against the Flowers right now. Blue Pianta knocks it away. I'm so sorry. I was so distracted. I didn't even see when Wario got subbed into pitch. That's my bad. There's a lot to pay attention to. Though, admittedly, pitching changes have been something we've been kind of bad at on commentary for a while now. Soda Popping wants to advance Tyler 1, and he will. Streamers on the corners means there's ever more increasing mounting offensive pressure against the Spitballs, as they've had 2 runs scored against them in this inning. Now, Blue Yoshi is an opportunity to seal it away. The Yoshis are not known for avoiding double plays, but they'll do just that this time, as the clean hit up the center allows Tyler 1 to run home. And the small ball continues. Excellent offensive play from the Spitballs offensive play from the Flowers as the Spitballs struggle. Sub-Captain Wario will at least force Baby Daisy into a double play to escape this inning. But 3 runs in a game like this? Normally I look at 3 runs and I say, that's a small lead. That's not much, especially with 5 more chances at the bat. But the Spitballs are in just as much of a power deficit as the Flowers are, which I covered before. I covered the Flowers woes before this game. The Spitballs can have that same issue too if Wario, for example, does not perform. So now we're going to have to see who performs for them. Yellow Toad does clean up his batting. After some bad base running in the first inning, he'll score a single to start. However, Miyamoto is not able to follow it up and flies out to right field. Now we're at the captains though. Wario. Excellent live drive deep to the center. That's what they need. And I'm sure if Waluigi can repeat the performance from last time, where he got that single, especially against a tired Daisy, his team will be more than happy to have loaded bases with only 1 out, especially with a fast runner like Yellow Toad. But no! He hits it straight to Blue Pianta on the shortstop, who turns the double play to Blue Critter. And the good chance for the Spitballs ends off the captain's bat. Trouble for the Spitballs, as they will have to produce in the back half of this game. Meanwhile, for the Flowers, it's not a question so much as if they can produce, but also if they can hold on. Excellent job of it so far, and some extra runs wouldn't hurt. You would want to see the Maverick, Daisy, who has scored so many surprise solo shot homers, see if she can keep that up in Bowser Jr.'s playroom. But her hit goes foul, and on 2 strikes, we typically don't see people charge up. No, she'll go for a slap. A beautifully aimed slap, though, which evades Wiggler's glove. You can't blame Wiggler. Almost no one would be able to catch that ball. despite all the hands the man has. And Mr. Consistency is up at the plate. But he charges, which is, well, it works out for him. Mr. Consistency cannot be held down. He'll allow Daisy to run all the way to third off that single. And now with another runner in scoring position, Blue Critter, who is the weakest critter batter, steps to the plate. Can Wario force a weak hit and get his team out of a bind? He does exactly that. The POW block. Okay. Let me tell you why that was so crazy. The POW block comes out, stuns everyone's on the field, but you know who it doesn't stun? Someone who can fly. It doesn't stun Blooper on the second base position and allows Blooper to turn the double play and silence the Flowers offense for that inning. Oh my god. What an amazing play from the Spitballs. Holy cow. And more importantly, they're starting to tire this. Oh my god, Miyamoto hits it deep. Baby Daisy needs to try to hit that, find that one. She throws up Pink Yoshi, who manages to get there just in time. That's the defense that the Flowers are known for, as they manage to hold on against a home run opportunity. It's star play after star play in the second half of this game, as I'm having trouble keeping up. Oh my god, someone hold these teams back. This barn burner is, well, burning the barn. Now, there is a star hit, and unfortunately for Daisy, well, okay. Unfortunately for Daisy, the fact that her star pitch results in such a high fly ball means that it's one of the few star pitches that items are effective against. In the end, though, it results on a runner on first and no runner on second, which would have been what we expected. A deep shot from Wiggler barely goes foul. It should be said, this is not what we expect from Wiggler. That's what we expect from Wiggler. A good slap hit to a little bit shallow outfield to secure a single. Runner on first, runner on second, 2 outs. Luigi needs to seal this inning before the Spitballs can bring on home, and he will do just that with excellent fielding work from Blue Critter in that second base position. The Flowers found the space early to get that small ball going and get their runs scored. They've been in dangerous positions again. The consistency of their captains, Daisy and Luigi, cannot be understated. Now it's up to them to see, can they keep finding that consistency? And why is that consistency not coming online for the Spitballs? Well, Wario will have plenty of time to ponder that as he forces a out from Blue Pianta to right field. The power block attempt is, of course, too slow. And now, once again, it's Soda Poppin's job to advance Tyler 1 on base. Watches the first ball for a strike. Second ball is a slow ball up the middle. And what is almost a mirror from that amazing double play last time, unfortunately, Wiggler is not able to get the ball out of his glove in time. And Blooper has to watch the field come to a standstill off a power block. The next power block does not put Blooper in any doubt. All it does is give Soda Poppin a concussion. And regardless, Blooper turns the out at first base to make sure the Flowers get nothing. Now, this is where the Spitballs need to turn on their offense. Top of the 7th, 3 attempts left. The man they traded for, Yellow Toad, hits a deep ball, but it should stay in. We typically don't see item interference in time, and we won't see item interference here. It's caught by Pink Yoshi in right field. Now Miyamoto again charges up, hits it to right field, but instead of being deep, this time it's a little bit too shallow. That's a second out. We get to the captains, Wario and Waluigi. The name of this game has been Captain Consistency. Can the captains get on base, and can the rest of their team capitalize off that? Wario at least keeps that going, especially with some chain chomp interference. Didn't matter much as Wario was too slow to advance to second off it, but now I'd love to see a star hit from Waluigi to try to keep this inning going for his team. They need offensive pressure now. No, The slap to center field is hit just a little bit too deep and lands right in Baby Daisy's glove. You don't need to have more than a zoomer attention span in order to be able to keep your eye on that ball. I'm sorry, generational cheap shot. Love y'all. Now, the woman who ended the last inning comes up to the plate to start this one, Baby Daisy. Deep shot up to center, and, well, she's just showing Waluigi what he should be doing. Hitting it just shallow enough that the center fielder, Yellow Toad, isn't able to do much off it. Now it's Pink Yoshi's turn. Can he keep this offense for the Flowers going? It should be said, unless the Spitballs manage to clear the bases on this batter, which they will, the double play from Wiggler and Blooper right when they need it, which is great. The two consistent captains of Daisy and Luigi were up next. If two batters got on, that would have been a terrifying chance at small ball, but the bobble from Reggie lets what would have been the out the end of the inning instead turn into a double from Daisy. Not able to keep his hand on the ball. His body may have been ready, but his glove certainly wasn't. Thankfully, a twist of fate. Despite the bobble from Reggie, Mr. Consistency fails to step up and unfortunately knocks away the last out for the Flowers. Again, 2 chances left for the Spitballs. They need 3 runs. Green Drybones. I praise the Drybones all day and night, but unfortunately he cannot do it. His slap goes too far, and Baby Daisy gets her glove on it. That's out number 1. Iwata now, facing down Luigi. Charges up, good contact, center left field, that's exactly where you want it. Power block on deck, won't get fired, which is what we typically see in that type of situation. That means that's a single from Iwata. Blooper, if he gets a single here, that sets up great for Wiggler, who can consistently knock out a single, but can Blooper nail it? He wants more than a single, unfortunately it's too much. His ball to center field will be caught easily by Baby Daisy, and results in a 2-out inning right now for the Spitballs. Wiggler needs to come up for his team. If he can do it, and Reggie can do it, that means we'll at least have loaded bases, but no. Weak ball, power block. If the power block hit the ground, then Iwata would have been stunned too long and been taken out. But the power block hits Blue Critter directly, stuns him directly, and allows Iwata and the runner to safely reach their bases. Now the drive up the middle loads the bases with 2 outs, and at the top of the 8th, it's Yellow Toad, the man they traded for, with the chance now to set up and bring the first run home for his team. The first pitch is a ball. Second pitch, straight down the middle, slapped into the outfield, but it's shallow, it's good. Wiggler's running home, and the weak throw from Baby Daisy will not make it there in time. 2 RBIs by the player they traded for. That will more than make up for his base running earlier in this game. And we have a 1-run game going into the last 2 innings. Now it's up to Miyamoto. Can he keep this rally going? Can he tie the game? Charges, slaps it. He wants to do more than tie it, but unfortunately Pink Yoshi and Baby Daisy are more than there in time to make the catch. That is the Flowers defense. You are going to have a tough time cracking that outfield. And it keeps this game 1 run separate. Now it's down to the Flowers. Can they extend their lead and make this all the harder for the Spitballs, or will we have another situation where 1 run separates the teams going into inning number 9? Blue Critter is a pretty good candidate to start that. He'll watch the first 2 strikes. He'll be forced to swing on the third. Charges, confidence, nails it. There is fireball assistance, but this typically doesn't come out late enough, and it won't. Yellow Toad makes the catch. That's the first out of the inning. Tyler 1 now has to watch himself against Wario. He'll watch the strike. Second pitch. Wario start pitch coming in. Can he read it? Reads it perfectly and knocks a clean hit up the middle. It's only a single. but it is a single. And as Wario starts to tire, that question of pitching depth that I raised earlier comes into play. Blue Pianta now. Excellent hitter. Can they knock it high and fly? Unfortunately enough, means that it won't be enough. And the Flowers have 2 outs and a run on first. Familiar situation for Soda Poppin'. Tyler 1 on first. Hits the ball clean to allow the runner to proceed to second. But unfortunately, that's where Wario calls it quits. And in a dangerous position for his team, Green Drybones is brought in to substitute and try to close out this game. Runner in scoring position on second, but it won't matter as thankfully the weaker hitter Blue Yoshi was up and knocks it straight to Blooper for the 3rd out. It is a 1-run game. Captain Drybones. If you had any better place in your lineup to try to secure your team, this would be it. The first captain falls as Wario knocks it to Blue Critter at second base. Second captain, Waluigi, needed for his team here, has to sneak it past his rival Luigi and will do just that. An incredible hit to center left. It'll only be a single with the speed in this outfield, but it's still good. Green Drybones now charges on the first strike. Has to make sure this game doesn't end here. The slap to Blue Pianta catches out Waluigi at first. And in a 1-run closer, the Spitballs are not able to do enough on the night. That means that in a defensive showcase, the Flowers secure this game by the hair on their chin. Oh, God. Good night, Calvi. The Playday is over. We're wrapping up. That was the last game. What another great game, and what a terrifying, nail-biting ending from both these teams as the Flowers seal it 3-2. Oh my stars, I'm feeling faint. Was that a barn burner or was I hyped up after the game earlier today? Regardless, the defensive powerhouse is able to show it on Bowser Jr.'s Playroom. And, well, MVP honors goes to one of the few runners that were able to touch home base. Tyler 1 secures another MVP honor for his team for, I think, the first time since early this season, but good MVP honors for the man. Okay. Let's digest that game. So, the question of pitching depth didn't really come into play. Lucky for the Spitballs, as they were the only team who had to field a tertiary pitcher, and Green Drybones held up under the pressure and forced an out. Flowers never had to go past Luigi. That's what happens in a defensive standoff. Thankfully, low runs means low pressure on your pitchers. It means you don't have to swap as often. So, good on both teams to try to keep it through the game. Now, when it came to offense, it really came down to one good inning for both teams. The problem for the Spitballs is that the Flowers inning was earlier and must have been a mental burden on these players as they had to try to claw back their way into the game. A little late and just 1 run too weak for the Spitballs. In theory, I would have loved that lineup. Captain Drybones. If there was one spot in the Spitballs lineup which you would have asked me and I would have been like, this is the place. This is where you go when you need something clutch to happen. That would have been it. And the Flowers showcased that they are a great defensive team to shut that one down and secure themselves the game. Fascinating plays from both sides. I think the takeaway from both these teams is that they can have more offense, but their defenses both held up extremely well in this game. And even with that, you gotta wonder, there were, maybe 2 super jumps to stop a home run in that game? Not as many clean outfield hits, but even when they were, they rarely turned into doubles. A fascinating game. I think that at a minimum, Spitballs can be happy with their trade. I'd be surprised if Yellow Toad did not end up being the MVP for them in this game, which is good on him, considering he got traded away to this team and Purple Toad performed earlier today. We'll have to check the box scores. We know? No. Yes, it is Yellow Toad who scores MVP honors for his team. Solid batting, especially driving those 2 RBIs in. Right? My memory's right on that? So excellent batting from the Toad to come in clutch for his team. And not for nothing, but I think that this 5 run of color coordination, of synergy from this team is a great showing for them. I think this will be dangerous as we go on. Maybe I'd like to see this pushed up early in the batting order, but like honestly, even with that, I'm not complaining. Like solid showing from the team. Meanwhile, as I grab a screenshot, isn't everyone happy that I muted screenshot dings? Over on the Flowers, like it should be said, there's no standout players and there's no weak players. Yes, the Yoshis have trouble batting, but that's why they're in that later half of the batting rotation. And they make for a great outfield that did more than their job this game. Blue Critter and Blue Pianta make for a great synergistic core in that middle section. I guess the question becomes, like, the problem of still who slugs on this team. And it turns out that when the team needs him, Tyler 1 is typically, and still remains, the player who is able to knock balls around the park when they need him, scoring RBIs for his team and securing them this low-scoring win, which for the first time in Bowser Jr.'s Playroom is what I think we can expect. I need to label that that game of Barn Burner. Actually, that was a very entertaining game. Okay. Let me update our standings for this game and go back over the storyline. So, the Monsters, sorry, this is going to take me a second. The Monsters, who were in first, will maintain that position. They'll go up to an 8-1 record. Run differential will advance to 57. They can't complain. The Rookies, as well, who score that 23-3 run against the Bows, will advance their run differential heavily and stay just a pace behind the Monsters. They're now 7-2 with a 38 run differential, up from 18. The Monarchs, despite losing in an absolute barn burner, hold on to that third place position. Their record falls now to 5-4, and their run differential will stay at 39. Notably, this means they still have +1 run differential over the Rookies, but also notably, this means now that second place, that second bye position, is two wins separated from third place. First and second are looking pretty cozy. This is the first time in league history that 2 wins have separated those positions from the rest of the pack. And as the Monarchs start to fall back into that pack, if they want that bye, they're going to have to scrap for it. The FireEggs, unfortunately, are... Actually, no. Next team that we got to talk about is the Musicians. With that 4-5 win, advancing them to a +6 run differential, they are actually going to advance up to 4th place. Excellent play from them. They are still at that negative win-loss, but keeping that run differential in the positive is enough to get them the tiebreaker over our next team, the FireEggs, who, with their previously 4-4, now 4-5 record and a -18 run differential, will fall into... Oh, no! No, they will fall further. Excuse me. The FireEggs will actually fall into 6th place. Our 5th place team? Well, it's the winner of this contest. It's the Flowers. With that win, they advance from 3 to 5 up to... No, not March 5th. They'll advance up to 4 to 5, -9 run differential, but it's enough to beat out the FireEggs and bring them up to 5th place. That means that the FireEggs fall down 4-5, -18 run differential. They'll be in the last current playoff position in that 6th place. The Spitballs are the team who take the loss in that 6th versus 7th standoff. Their record falls to 3-6, 1 game behind 4th, 5th, and 6th. And with a decent run differential, they have a better run differential than both the Flowers and the FireEggs if they win their next game. So if they win their next game, they're back up to playoff contention, a playoff slot. Not as if there's still not a lot of games left to play, but, you know, 3-6, -5 run differential, which is nothing to sneeze at. And at the bottom of our league, the Bows fall further. They will reach triple digits negative run differential as they fall to a 1-8 win-loss record and a 1-8 win-loss record and a -108 run differential. No, that's not a typo. Their record is 1-8. Their run differential is -108. I just moved the hyphen one space over and replaced it with a 0. Okay, so here were our standings at the start of that Playday. And the movement that you'll see is the Musicians and the Flowers rise, the FireEggs and the Spitballs fall, as I update the standings. And here you go. Here's the newly updated standings as of the end of Playday number 8. Playday number 8. Playday number 8. There we go. Sorry, Playday number 9. The Monsters remain on top, but one loss will put them in dangerous position against the son of the man on top, the Rookies. The Monarchs maintain their 3rd place position but fall further and further from that bye slot. There's still a scrap in the middle, as 3 teams are 4-5, only one of them with a positive run differential of the Musicians. The Flowers and the FireEggs manage to keep up, but with a negative run differential, putting them in a little bit of danger. The Spitballs fall, but their run differential isn't that bad. If they score a win against the Flowers next week, they'll at least shoot past them. So, hope for the Spitballs remains, and the Bows, while not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs yet, would need a hell of a run back in order to scrap their way back into contention. At the end of Playday number 9, I'm your commissioner, Willie or Won't He. Thank you for joining me today in Grand Slam Galaxy. We're going to go ahead and repay some raiding kindness that happened a while back. We're going to go raid the VTuber Frostbite while they talk about completely normal things, I'm sure, in the Oblivion Remaster. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I will see you next time. Our next Playday will be next Tuesday for Playday number 10. It should be noted also, storyline. After Playday number 10 will be the last chance, the last trade opportunity for all these teams before we head into the final 4 games of the season. So, we'll have to see how that goes. I'm your Commissioner, Willie Owonti. Thank you for joining me, and until next time in Grand Slam Galaxy, play ball and drink water. Good night, everybody. And if you're still here, seriously, Drink some water. You need it. Goodbye.